Hello, and welcome back to Danganronpa Mauve. I'm still so sad. Um, so last time the victim was finally revealed, and of course it was what's his name? Oh my god. Hiruto. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm sorry. I can't remember, but I remember really liking him. And then he died because of course he did. We're gonna do the investigation and the trial as well in this video, though me personally tonight I'm just gonna do the investigation and then do the trial another time because I'm very tired. But I do want to do the investigation and try to figure it out. So there are 100%. It is one of the people who was setting up the concert. That is Hadaira, that's her name. The redhead girl who took the leader position, what was her name? Misaki? The streamer guy. It's gonna take me a minute to remember all, to get back into all their, I don't know why I can't seem to get their names. So usually it takes past chapter 1. The girl with the hat over there in the corner. She's also a suspect. Was there another one? But yeah, we have 4 suspects. I think it was just the 4 of them plus Hiruto. I think that's his name is Hiruto. Please tell me it is. But basically he was stabbed in the back, and our main character Miyuki is all like, oh well, it could be anybody. No, it can't. 100% is one of those people. I don't know which one. The most suspicious one to me at the moment, I think, is Tadaira. She was definitely in that room to practice her concert. And, you know, the others knew that he was going to be in there. They asked him to go in there, so they knew where he was going to be. Someone stabbed him in the back. Basically, pretty much. Exactly, just stabbed him in the back. So yeah, we're gonna collect our truth bullets tonight and take it from there. I don't know what to expect, so Hiruto. Let's look at his body again. Iwada. I can't get that last conversation with Iwada out of my head. And the first victim of what we feared would happen, including Misaki, was you. Sorry, Iwada. Maybe you were right after all. Clearly he was, because he died. I knew he was going to die, but I'm still sad about it. The only thing I can do now is to find out who killed you. I'll do my best. For you. Let's look at the Monokuma file. I think we looked at it briefly last time. The victim is Hiruto Iwada. Because of course it is. The ultimate lucky student. Body found in classroom 1A. Estimated time of death between 6 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. Because that girl who's performing the concert, Tadaira is her name. She said she was going to start practicing at 6 a.m., right? I think she's my number 1 suspect, but it's definitely one of the 4 of them. I think it would be absolutely wild if it ended up being Misaki. Like, imagine preaching, like, being their leader and preaching, like, it's never gonna happen, I'm gonna protect you all, and being the first killer. That would be crazy. The cause of death is believed to be asphyxiation, with a kitchen knife stab wound to the back. There are no other visible injuries. It's his bloody coat over there. His jacket, right? What is this? A gray cloth layered near Iwada's body. Not his jacket. I guess he's wearing his jacket. Or no, is he? I can't remember. I try not to look too hard at his unseeing eyes because I miss him. It was crumpled on all its sides and by Chunk's estimation, quite large. Since it was near the scene, I thought it was an important piece of evidence. It's heavier than I thought. It wasn't so much that I couldn't lift it with one hand, but it wasn't exactly the kind of weight I wanted to lift with one hand. I ended up using 2 hands to lift the fabric. What is it, a weighted blanket? As expected, the fabric was stained with traces of blood. The way it looks and where it's positioned, it's safe to assume it was used by the killer to stop the blood. But I can't assume this was Hiroto's blood. I turned to Kizuki, who was examining the corpse beside me. Huh? What? Do you mind if I ask for this? I found some blood on the corner of this. I wanted to make sure it was Iwada's blood. Okay, that's good enough for me. Kizuki stood up and took the cloth from me. It's a lot bigger and heavier than I thought. If you're not strong enough, you won't be able to carry it. Are you saying you can't carry it? Sorry, I'll ask you later. Certainly, Kizuki's physique was on the slender side. It might have been difficult for her to travel long distances with those brittle arms. Okay, calm down. You're being a little mean to her. Yeah, let me know when it's time. I guess she said she's gonna get back to us. Cloth has been recorded in the e-handbook. Okay. I can talk to, this is the street, Shinano. Shinano's a suspect as well. Shinano seemed to be in a panic. He was crouched in the corner of the hallway doing nothing. Shinano, look at me. I know you're overwhelmed, and rightfully so. But a class trial is coming soon, and we need to survive. And we need your help to do that. Only you can do this. I'm sorry, but can you help me? I grabbed Shinano's shoulder and pleaded with him. See, he carries his video camera around everywhere. If it's not him, maybe he captured it on video camera. Shinano hesitated, then nodded, albeit weakly. Okay, so the video camera. Can you show me that? This? Shinano, in the midst of his panic, held up the video camera he'd been clutching in his arms. This is why I reached out to him. Yeah, that one. You left that video camera on all the time while you were in school. Maybe there's something useful in the footage you recorded. Yeah. Okay. Shinano began to manipulate something on the screen of the video camera. When can you show me? Sorry. It's a little hard to find the scene you're looking for because everything that happened last night from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. was recorded at once. Since 7 p.m.? What were you doing? It was a long 2-hour interview. From 7 to 9 in Sarashina's private room. If you ask him, he'll tell you. Shortly thereafter, Misaki called me and... Oh, could you just watch it from the beginning? Then Shinano played the video and showed it to me. He's showing him the stuff about the concert now, right? The video began with a first-person view of Shinano closing the door to Sarashina's private room. Oh, cool. Okay, so that leaves us with... Hey, Shinano. Whoa, surprised me. Miko Chica. Suddenly showing up like that. So what's going on, Misaki? Tadaira and Fukuoka? That's the girl with the hat, I think. Why are there so many of you? Aren't Girl Scout cookie sale troops usually 2 people? Dude. Cookies? I'm a baker, remember? Actually, there's something we're secretly working on. So, we were thinking of nudging Mr. Shinano into joining. Oh, what do you think? Oh, is it a surprise? If it is, I can't be left out. What is it? Don't you get the idea that the person I'm accompanying is someone... What? Don't you get the idea that the person I'm accompanying is not someone else but Tadaira? So, are you organizing a cello recital or something? Bingo. You're a fast thinker. I forgot exactly what voice I do for her, I'm sorry. I just wanted to lift your spirits. And we're having a rough morning, so I thought it was a good time. Okay. I'm down. So is it just gonna be like the four of us?
Yeah.
Nah. I'm thinking of bringing one more person. Who's that? Hiroto Iwada. That's all we need. Iwada? I thought Iwada was supposed to be reformed and join us this time. I think his participation in an event like this is a great way to show that. See, this is the kind of things when she says something like this, it's like it would be so good if she's the killer. Like that would be crazy. I would eat that up. I would love that. I hope it's her. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be her. But I'd love it if it were. Wow, you had that in mind? Of course. Who am I? Misaki, Misaki, Misaki. Don't overdo it. Then we can go to Iwada's private room. It's not like he's wandering around at this hour.
Yes.
Alright, let's go then. From then on, it was just as Misaki had told me. I was short on time, so I fast-forwarded to the middle, but the general idea is the same. Well, that's what happened. What do you think? Did it help? I think we're there, but we're not really done. So if you don't mind, could you show me the other videos? Another video? Maybe there's something that could help. The footage you've been capturing is a precise and accurate record of the past. You're removing CCTV. There's no more reliable testimony than that. With that said, I'm not sure which of the videos would be evidence. And I'll find it for you. Can you just give it to me? Sure. I took the video camera from Shinano and began fiddling with it, looking at the screen with him. This was my first device, but the interface was simple enough that I had no trouble operating it. I started fast-forwarding through a few videos. Most of the videos were uneventful, showing students going about their daily lives, but if Shinano had really been recording all over the place, there would have been some helpful footage. That's what I believed. And then... Here, Shinano. Why? I just want to know what you think. Look at this. What is it? Hey, did you see the cloth lying next to the body? Yeah, it's not like I didn't see the body. Why? I think there's a clue here. Look closer. What is this? The location shown on the display was the warehouse. So, what are you referring to? Who's Miyuki? Oh, this is him. Look here, at the bottom of the shelf. I don't see it. Eh? Oh, there it is. Isn't this that fabric? Do you see it now? It's definitely the same fabric. No crumpled look, no different color, no difference in volume either. Yeah, I believe so too. The source of a fabric we don't even know where or how long it's been there. It'll certainly help. I'll have to go to the warehouse first and I'll have to check it for myself. Yeah, I'll go with you. I hurried to the warehouse, keeping pace with Shinano, hoping we still had enough time. We do, because there's still some exclamation points I haven't looked at yet. There it is. Confirmed. As expected, the fabric in the video was gone. When did you take that video? 2 days ago? Time is 11 p.m. So if you're saying the killer took the cloth, so you're saying the killer took the cloth after that? 2 days ago. I don't think that's going to narrow down the suspects. They could have done it any time in the middle of the night. But now we know the source of the object that the killer may have used. That's one step forward, right? Shinano's face is suddenly cheerful. I wonder if he's just happy that his videos are helping. Well, while we're at it, let's take a look at some of the other videos, just in case we find something else unexpected. Yeah, that'd be nice. So, at Shinano's suggestion, I walked back to the scene of the crime and reviewed the remaining footage with him, only to realize that... What do you think? Do we have anything? Honestly, I'm not sure about the images without the cloth. Sorry. No worry. I'm just doing what I can. Doing this voice kills my throat, genuinely. Why I keep doing it, I don't know. It just comes out. For now, why don't you tell the others about the evidence you found? It might come in handy. Okay. I'm not a brainiac, so I'm gonna help you in that regard. Thank you. Well, I'm gonna ask Sarashina about what he heard earlier. Okay. Cloth source and Shinano's account. Okay, there's one more. Who's this? Mayu. I don't like her. What? Excuse me, sorry. I was wondering if you knew anything about the case. I know two things for sure. The first is about that weapon, the kitchen knife. Really? It could be the culprits, believe it or not. I was in the dining hall until 7 p.m. last night, by which time there were still 4 kitchen knives hanging, and no one coming or going. Oh, we're doing one of these kitchen knife disappearance things again? Isn't that, that was a big thing in the first trial in Trigger Happy Havoc, right? The missing kitchen knife and seeing, what's her name? Go and get it. What is her name? Sayaka? Go and get it. And knowing, like, she was the one who had planned to kill Leon. Could it be they had a spare knife? You dumbass. No. You joined a little late in this place, so you didn't know. Sorry. Ask other students and they'll tell you. We searched the entire school, including the cafeteria and kitchen, but there was no such thing as a spare kitchen knife. Well, that's certainly useful information. And secondly, we don't have any other fabric in this school that we can use. Huh? What do you mean? I can't think of anything smaller and lighter than that fabric. I don't know what that cloth was used for in the warehouse, but I'm pretty sure the killer used it to stop the blood. See? It was practically the only fabric available for that purpose. That's what I found when I was investigating. Yeah, I already discovered that too. Yeah, got it. Thanks for the clarification. Sure, good luck with your investigation. When I leave the classroom, I'll have to investigate where the knife used to be. Ego's account has been added to the e-handbook. Okay, so I can leave now. Would you leave? Okay. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot to do here. Okay. I'm gonna talk to Ukyo first, because I think up there that's Tadaira, I think. I like Ukyo. I'm sorry, I probably just damned him to death. He's gonna die. Not in this chapter, but probably in the future, let's be honest, because I said I like him. Hey, Sarashina? What is it? No big deal, I just heard something from Shinano. Last night, he said he was with you from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. That's true. I agreed to be interviewed because he wanted to know what it's like to be an ultimate student. From the way he talks, it sounded like he already interviewed other students. From 9 o'clock, Shinano was out, and he didn't come back, right? Right. I'm pretty sure he asked me everything he wanted to know, and he never looked for my private room again after he walked out. Why do you ask? Are you doubting Shinano? Of course. Because we have to be suspicious of everyone. I'm most suspicious of Tadaira and honestly Misaki. I want Misaki to be the killer. I want it so bad. It's not gonna be. That would be too wild, I think. Oops, I hit the microphone. Sorry. Well, that makes sense when you think about it. Anything else? No. That was helpful. Thank you. Tadaira didn't investigate, just stood in the hallway staring blankly into space. Why? Because she just killed somebody? Hey, Tadaira, can I ask you a question? Oh, you must be Miyuki. Feel free to ask any questions. Music's loud in my ear. I'm only going to ask you one question, but before you ran into Misaki, you said you were on your way to the classroom. Yes, that's right. Were you just on your way to the classroom, or did you stop somewhere else? Just as I said, I didn't do anything different. Did you take a closer look at the classroom at the time? And did you see Iwada because he was in the corner or blocked by a desk? Yeah. Not really, because the classroom structure isn't that complicated in the first place. Well, Iwada's body was conspicuous by its absence. There's no way you didn't see it. So Iwada disappeared and reappeared as a corpse during that brief interval. Any word on that? Wait, what? Wait, so he disappeared at one point and then was brought back? I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. The blood was cleaned off. There wasn't much on the floor. I don't know, it's weird. Tadaira shook her head helplessly to this question. I'm really sorry I couldn't be of help. You don't have to apologize. I heard the answer and that's good enough for me. Is that everything? Near the end of our investigation, I headed to the kitchen for one last check. There it is. The original 4 knives were reduced by 1 to 3. It seems likely that the weapon was taken from here. Oh, so there you were. I've been looking for you for a while. Kizuki? Yes. I've been preparing for the blood test. I need you to bring me the cloth. Alright, where do I bring it? Go to the infirmary. That's where we have a lot of chemicals. Personally, I'm disappointed that there are only a few drugs, but at least we'll be able to determine if it's Iwada's blood or not. Alright, then... Wait. I will join you. Ego? What's going on? I picked up on what you guys were saying in the classroom. You said you were going to test the blood on the cloth and see if it was Iwada's. If you're the culprit, it's possible you're manipulating the results, right? I'll have to check it out with my own eyes. I understand. I don't see why not. You can follow me. The test results are in. It matches the composition of Iwada's blood, so it's definitely his. If so, we can consider it a done deal, right? You can think of it like that. In fact, if there's this much blood, there should be a large wound. But since none of us are injured, it's not hard to guess that it was Iwada's blood. Well, yeah, it's just confirmation. Bing bong, bing bong. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is a school announcement. I'm starting to get tired of waiting. Shall we begin? I've been waiting for it. The class trial. Now, I'll designate a meeting place. Meet at the red door on the first floor of the school. See ya later. So that's what the red door that didn't open was for. The timing couldn't be better. Is this the beginning of the end? Yeah, we should get going. One way or another, the conclusion will draw itself. Let's go. We don't know what else Monokuma will do to us if we're late. I'm ready. Actually, I say that, but I'm gonna play the trial another time because I'm very tired. And it's probably not a good idea for me to play it right now, but for you, it's gonna be just this one video. I'm ready. I want it to be Misaki. It's not gonna be her. Oh, there you are. What's the result? It's Iwada's blood, no doubt. Good. Thanks. Nice work. So, now that we're all here, I have a question for some of you, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to answer it for a second. The students nodded, a little puzzled. I'm sure you've heard about the concert in your investigation. Who hasn't? No one raised their hand. Thanks. That just makes it easier to explain. And the people who organized the concert were Shinano, Fukuoka, Tadaira, and me. I'd like to ask them a question. It's one of them. Did anyone else decide to organize the concert yesterday and tell anyone about it? The three of them looked at each other, and eventually they all shook their heads. That just confirms it. There's 4 suspects, and it's you. I mean, I think technically Teresa, because I don't think it's going to be Misaki. Like, that would be awesome, but it's not going to be her. I guess we'll see, though. No one said anything, right? I get it. Okay, next question. And this is a question I ask everyone. Has anyone moved a kitchen knife out of the kitchen? Or moved fabric from the scene to a location other than the warehouse? Why would the Blackened answer this? Genuinely. Why? Again, no one raised their hand. Okay, thanks everyone. Girl, did you expect the Blackened to just come out here, not even in the trial? Honda, I did it because you asked me to. But do we really need this for the reasoning? I hate this guy. Ugh, he creeps me out. What voice did I give him? I don't even know. Was he Southern? I'm asking because I need to, and I'm kind of stuck. Really? I've got a clue, but I don't trust it. Oh, right. Just out of curiosity, Kuzu. You didn't apply to the question you just asked, did you? Of course I didn't do it. That's fine. Thanks. He's gonna accuse her the second we get in there. As I listened to Shitanda, I approached Shinano. Shinano. Huh? What is it, Miyuki? You have something for me? I told you earlier that you should tell other people where the cloth came from. What happened to that? Yeah, I've been showing it to everybody. Good. Did anyone say anything else? Like they remembered seeing the cloth somewhere, or that it wasn't just one cloth that looked like this? They didn't. They just nodded and said, yeah, that's the cloth. If there's any doubt, I'll show you a video of the Q&A. We can't neglect the little things. I'd appreciate it if you show me. Shinano handed me the video camera and played back a short clip. I think I can trust it. Good work. And thanks. I said this and handed the video camera back to Shinano. Bing, bing, bong. I'm ready. Music has got me ready.
You're all here, right? Then take the elevator up front and it will take you to the courtroom. This will be your class trial to decide your fate. I'll be one step ahead and wait for you.
I love the poo. I didn't realize they had a place like that underground. Let's go. We don't know anything about this trial, and judging until we've been there. I'm honestly scared. A lot. We could die.
Yeah.
Just calm down. The Panda says he's got a hunch, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Whoa now. If you put pressure on me like that, I might not be able to do my best performance. If you don't have a point, you can leave it alone. Because forcing yourself to speak is not a skill. I just want to do what you've asked and do it with integrity. Okay? He's gonna accuse her as soon as we get there. They're gonna clear her name right away. We can do this. Let's find the culprit. Okay. So we're back. It's it's been 6 weeks. I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, I'm here now. And I'm gonna continue. I think I recorded the investigation part like 6 weeks ago. I'm not gonna lie. But we're here. We're gonna do the trial today. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure who it is. I know that it's one of the few who were... They were gonna perform for them and try to like put on a concert, and it was one of those people who knew about the concert, and we know this. As for which one, I don't know. I think it would be interesting if it... Why can't I move? Okay. It would be interesting if it was Misaki. Because she's been the whole one who's like taken the leader position, and I'm like, what if it's her? Wouldn't, like, I think that would be a good twist. But I doubt it. Anyway, I've forgotten most of everything. So when it lets me look at the I can't speak. When it lets me look at the evidence that we found again, I'm gonna just read through it. Hopefully it lets me, because otherwise we're just going in blind. We need to win this trial, so we can stay alive. It is shameful to ask, but I hope you can help me. Alright, I'm still really upset that Iwada's the one who died. I knew it was gonna happen as soon as they switched protagonists, but I'm still really upset about it. Let's go to the class trial. I'm ready. This elevator, we can use it? No regrets. No. It's too late for regrets. All that's left is the future. Iwada couldn't have been closer to the other students than I was, but at the end of the day, he was willing to walk away from his fears. The truth behind his death must be uncovered. I took a deep breath and pushed open the elevator door. Let's do it. I don't know which one of them it is, but it's one of them. With a deafening crash, the elevator plummeted downward, never ending. They were overwhelmed by the feeling that it was sinking deeper and deeper into the earth. No one dared to speak. Silence reigned in the unsteady light of the elevator. Undaunted by the anxiety of one death row inmate, or 14, the elevator went deeper, deeper, and deeper. I still think it would have been better if we didn't know that only a select few of them knew about the concert. Because then, like, I wouldn't have so few suspects. And I think it, like, because the protagonist now, whose name I forgot, I think it's Miyuki. I still don't know any of their names. I think if we didn't know about, because like he doesn't know, so he thinks anybody could have done it, but like we know it's not just anybody, it's one of the few who was with Iwada the whole time and knew about it and stabbed him in the back. As for which one it is, I have no idea.
You're here. This space is... What do you think? This environment. I've put a lot of my own taste into it. Don't you get the feeling that you're really in a trial?
That's a long way off, you cheap stinker.
Well, even if you don't like it, this teacher, who was humming and hollering in anticipation of welcoming you all, was heartbroken by the malicious comments, the reality of the decline of education. Enough with the chatter. Let's get down to business. You will stand where your name is written. The name? Yes. The trial seats are labeled with your names. For example, Miss Tadaira, you can stand at the bench in front of you.
See, like, Tadaira's a suspect too, but I honestly don't think it's her. Only because she's... My hair's stuck in this thing. Only because she's so similar to... I don't know if you watched me play Blowback, but she's very similar to a character in there who ended up being the first killer. And I think Blowback was a Korean developed game too. Anyway, that one was good. It was dropped after 2 chapters, but it was very good. That's why I don't really suspect her, because it's too similar to the other one. But they could have nothing to do with each other, but still, like, knowing the other games, I'm like, she's too similar. They're basically the exact same character. There's no way it's her. It's got to be one of the others. So it's either the streamer guy, Misaki, Tadaira was there, that girl with the hat, whose name I don't know, and Iwada. I think it was just the 5 of them. As Monokuma said, we took our assigned seats and stood. See, like, that's the thing. They always say, like, please sit, but they're always standing. Like, oh yeah, we're sitting. No, you're not. Oh, what did I just do? I lowered the volume or something?
Wow, this is a great picture. I'm so nervous that my heart is about to explode. So, let's get started. The first class trial.
Oh, I'm so sad. A trial for everyone's lives. We must win. We can live if we are able to explain Iwada's death. Iwada, I'm sorry. The very least I can do for you, I will gladly carry your will behind me and move forward. He didn't deserve it. Why is my volume going down? Is it my hair? He didn't deserve what he got. I knew it was going to happen, but he still didn't deserve it. Oh, Iwada. And the curtain finally rises. Trial of our lives. Trial of lies. Trial of betrayal. A trial of reasoning. A trial of acquittal. A trial of trust. A life or death. Last trial. Sorry, my volume keeps going down by itself. Sorry. It makes it, you can all hear it the same, but me, it just completely turned off. I'm excited. Also nervous. Would you like to save? Sure. Bonjinen? Leia? Player what? Monokuma was blocking it.
What's wrong, you guys? Yeah, that's you. The one that put this in the screen.
Wait, what happened? Do I need to download something else? The plot twist that wasn't in the original? I'm here because I have a proposal for you. I shall be blunt. You can find out who the culprit is. Surprise, no surprise. Though he doesn't know it yet, Miyuki has already gathered all the information he needs to identify the culprit. This means that you, who saw and heard the exact same information as Miyuki, can reasonably identify the culprit. Yeah, but Miyuki didn't do it 6 weeks ago like I did. That's my own fault. While we're at it, why don't we try to figure out the culprit? You'll be rewarding players with an exclusive souvenir that you can only get this once. There's no penalty, of course, but if you're playing a deduction game, blah blah blah. Can I get the trial? You can feel free to skip this. If you guess the culprit and it's wrong, there's no penalty of having your save data melted away. It's just pure fun. No. I want to do the trial. No. I guess you may not want to. It's still fun to use your brain for once in a while. Hey, that's rude. I want you to try it in the next chapter, alright? Yeah, maybe if I play it consecutively like I probably should. I don't want to do that. Because, like, what if you guess right, then you don't do the trial? That's weird. You know what I mean? Let's look at the handbook, because I want to just really quickly take a look at the truth bullets. Hiruto was lying on his back with a stab wound deeply embedded in him, but since the knife hasn't been pulled out, he was bleeding less. Yeah, they say that if you get stabbed, don't take it out, because then that just makes you die faster. Like, you could survive if you leave it in. There was a small amount of blood from his mouth, but no other bloodstains were present. Okay, noisy floor. The floor in the classroom, the scene of the incident, makes noise when you walk on it. Even with the most careful footsteps, you can't completely muffle the sound, which is interesting because, like, the whole time I thought he was just stabbed in the back, like someone snuck up on him, but it's possible he may have known who was there and just let them do it. No, not like let them stab him, but like let them come up to him because he trusted them. Alright, let's see. The victim, Hiruto Iwada, ultimate lucky student. Between 6 and 7:30 a.m. Cause of death is presumed to be asphyxiation. There is a knife stab wound in his back. Kizuki's account. According to Kizuki's autopsy, Iwada died from having blood in his lungs. So, like, did the knife in his back, did it puncture his lung? Conversely, he would not have... Sorry, it's so small. Like, honestly, the game screen is, like, this big. I don't mind. I like it. I can't... I gotta get closer. And from the killer's point of view, pulling the knife out of his body would have been a more reliable way to kill him. In other words, instead of killing Iwada with certainty, the killer took a gamble that was likely to fail. Because they were surrounded by other people, and the other people were going to come in, right? They were planning to do a concert at, was it 8 a.m.? Misaki, Hitomi, Shoji, Kotori, and Hiruto got together last night in secret and organized a concert to lighten the mood. Hiruto is believed to have been attacked and killed while doing the chores for the concert. So yeah, it's definitely one of these people. Jumanji's account. Jumanji testified that she was in the laundry room before 7 a.m. and that she left and went back to her private room before Miyuki had gone to the diner. She claims she did not hear anything else. Everyone's alibi. Okay. That doesn't really help me. The gray cloth found near Iwada's body. It's crumpled and tattered. I wonder if they might have used this cloth to walk on. Because the floor's creaks. So what if they put the cloth down and walked on the cloth and that kind of muffled the sound? Or like lessened the sound? If they're light enough, it might have, you know, they might have been able to walk without making any sound on the cloth. That's possible. Otherwise, I don't have any other explanation for the cloth. Ego's account. She said she was in the diner until 7 p.m. the night before, and that the 4 kitchen knives were still hanging and no one was coming or going. The investigation also revealed that the only cloth available at the school for the killer to use to stop the blood was the one that was lying at the scene. So the cloth is from, I guess, what's that room? The supply room. I don't know what it's called. Shinano testified that he was interviewing Sarashina in his private room from 7 to 9 p.m. the day before the incident and that he joined Kuzu's group shortly thereafter. I don't know. Is it him? Because, like, I want it to be Misaki. Because that would be a great twist, because she's all like, oh, we need to work together and do all this, but, like, I have a feeling it's not. So that really only leaves him and the girl with the hat as the, like, main suspects. Based on the footage left in Shinano's video camera, it appears that the cloth was a warehouse item. Warehouse, that's the word I was looking for. It's unclear when it was missing. So it had to be after 7 p.m. though. What time did they meet for the concert? It was late, right? Was it after the curfew? I don't remember. It doesn't say. Oh well. You know what? Let's just do it. Do I have any skills? Probably not. No. Oops, no. Don't have any. Let's go. That's not the one I meant to click. I meant to be cool. Oh, let's go. And I clicked the wrong button like an idiot. Do you want to begin the class trial? I do. Trials make me nervous. They always have in all of these games constantly.
Now, let's begin with a quick explanation of the class trial. The outcome of the trial is decided by your votes. If you name the correct blackened, only they will be executed. But if you name the wrong person as the blackened, then everyone but the blackened will be executed, and the one who fooled everyone else will graduate from this academy.
Here it comes. Class trial. Our first or last time they play with our lives. It's the first. It's the first. There's gonna be at least 6 of these. Before we get started, let's clear up a few things. Number 1, is there really a culprit among the 15 of us? They ask this every time, and every time, duh.
Of course, among the 14 remaining innocent sheep, there's a wolf in sheep's clothing lurking.
And secondly, oh, I liked him a lot. I'm really upset. What the hell is this next to me? That's where he would have been. This is why, like, every time, if we're ever playing these games and I say, this is my favorite character, they're gonna die. That's how it goes.
Oh, what can I say? It's like a ritual. You know how they post pictures of the body at funerals?
That is a weird way to word it. They don't post pictures of the body? That is so disturbing. If you think about it, like, of the body? You mean like of the deceased? But then, again, it's Monokuma saying it, so of course he'd be like, the body.
Something like that.
Ritual? This is a whole lot of BS. What are we waiting for?
You can start whenever you like. So then, why don't we get to work? The full course class trial.
Even if it's a trial, I don't know where to start. I have a vague idea of where to begin. For example, there was a dying message next to the body. Or the body was found in a secret room. If there's anything unusual about this, we can discuss that. Iwada's body was in pretty normal condition. Well, was there really nothing unusual about it? I've been relatively lax in my biology studies, but the mismatch between weapon and cause of death is still pretty amazing. Oh yeah, that's right, the weapon didn't pierce his lung, so he didn't die from the knife wound. So like, because there wasn't a lot of blood on the knife wound, it could have been like he died... No, he was stabbed after he was dead. To kind of... So that the Blacken can kind of throw everybody off on the cause of death. A mismatch between the weapon and the cause of death. A clear indication of that is... Is it her account? Because she said what he died from. The asphyxiation. Like, he like, choked to death. Would it be her account or Monokuma File 1? Oh, we'll find out. You're referring to the situation where the victim was stabbed and still was actually suffocated, right? Yeah, that's right. At first, I was confused as to why the knife was there, but Kizuki explained everything.
If you don't have any biological knowledge, you can definitely get stumped here.
Speaking of which, I'd like to point out that the perpetrator did what? Blah blah. Can't read. The problem is, I've said this before, but the problem is my eyes move faster than my mouth. So I read, like, I'm reading the words in my head faster than I can say them. Speaking of which, I'd like to point out, did the perpetrator intend that outcome?
The outcome?
When they stabbed Iwada, did they go for it knowing that he would choke on his own blood?
I can't say for sure, but based on a quick review, I'd say it's more likely than not. The knife pierced the lung, but at a very narrow angle. If it had been pointed a little lower, it could have missed the lung. It's a wonder if a non-technical person can pull off such a trick.
So is she insinuating that it's somebody with knowledge of the anatomy? Is that what she's saying? But I don't know. Well, we have some experts among us, right? Kizuki, including you. For example, the active criminal over there. Feel like, I know it's not her, but that would be so... Like, she's trying so hard not to be this criminal that she, you know, is. That it would be so interesting if she actually was. Maybe she'll be a culprit down the line. Either a victim or a culprit. I don't think she's making it to the end. The ones who become leaders do not make it, let's be honest. Or is it the active duty knifeman over there? Does that refer to me? I love Justin. I love Justin Blade. Or maybe it's you. Since when did she fall asleep again? Don't tell me. I don't know if I should say this, but I don't think waking her up is gonna help much, so just leave her alone. Anyway, I'll keep saying what I'm saying. I think you're a fairly rational person, Ego. But aren't you just grabbing at straws? Isn't that the whole point of the class trial? To nail down every little thing that's easy to get away with? Well, in this case, despite Kizuki's comment that no matter how much medical knowledge they had, it was impossible to commit such an outcome. Commit or predict? Is this supposed to be like... Why would you say that if you know everything? I'm just thinking out loud. You mean I can just ignore it and walk away? Let's change the subject then. If I may chime in, why don't we take this as a starting point? A place to start our discussion. In other words, are you suggesting that we talk about the condition of Mr. Iwada's body first? Yes. That is the peculiarity of the case, in Inigo's words. And this just happened to come up. Alright, fine. Let's get to it. I braced myself and focused my mind, determined not to miss a word. If I notice something, speak up. Everyone's life depends on it. Oh, it's the non-stop debate, isn't it? Oh, I don't know why I'm surprised every time it comes up. Would you like an explanation? I'm gonna do it because I don't know how it works in this game. During the white text is not refutable. Yeah, I know that. In a non-stop debate, characters take turns speaking, and the discussion moves forward automatically. Players must find the falsehoods and contradictions. Yes. Yes, I know this. I just want to know how to shoot. Some of the truth bullets collected during the investigation will be loaded. The player must choose the appropriate one. Shift to change truth bullets. S to skip phases. Space to fire. Okay. I will not remember that. Okay, so usually I'm going to skip through the rest. I just wanted to know what keys I need to use. S key, shift to change. Okay, I get it. Okay. I like to listen through it for one time first and then go back. Start. Monokuma file. Oh, I only have one. Never mind. First, we need to address the state of Iwada's body. The body is in classroom 1A. That's where it was found. That is true. He was probably killed while preparing the concert. Iwada said he would start getting ready at 6:30. Once he arrived at the classroom, he was probably setting the stage. Then the killer walked behind Iwada's back. They must have fought to kill Iwada. No. Who did such a horrible thing? It might have been you! I think I need to refute what, what's his face said. What's his name? Brief information about Iwada's death. Now that I think back on what was written, I might be onto something. Okay, let's skip you. That is true. Okay, I think it's this one I have to refute. If I'm wrong, that would be embarrassing. Intermission. Let's go. Fighting. That's not possible. Why? According to the Monokuma file, Iwada's body was clean except for the stab wound. If you had a fight with someone, it would have left a mark, right? But they could have fought and accidentally left no trace. Impossible. The other person would also have, like, scratches at least. Huh. As far as everything goes. If they're fighting with someone else, why would they end up with a knife in the back? The only time a knife gets stuck in your back is when you're completely overpowered. But if you fought that hard, will it leave a mark? You don't think there wouldn't be any marks left? Yeah, you're right.
He's like a broken man now.
Girl, why do you look so happy about that? Well, it's a natural part of the discussion, and there's nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I should mention that... What is it? Iwada was stabbed. Iwada's cause of death was blood choking, with no other trauma. So he drowned in his own blood. The only force the attacker used against Iwada was a single stabbing motion. I asked Kizuki and she said it was quite the gamble. Is that true, Kizuki?
Yes, exactly. If the culprit wanted to kill Iwada for sure, they would have used a different method. The most obvious way is to pull out the knife and stab several times. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
So, is it safe to say that the killer was lucky to get away with the murder?
It's easier to understand it that way.
Why did they do that? It would have been much better to kill for certain. Can't you tell? I can see that by the look on your face. What? Can't guess. It's the blood. Blood? Are you referring to the blood stain? Yes, that's right. The killer didn't want blood on them. With Ego's comment, the debate entered a new phase. So that is... Because other people were going to be coming into the room, right, like, pretty soon after he was killed, I'm assuming. They... Let's listen to Ego's idea. Oh, here we go again. Jidak. Start. Cloth. I think it was used to muffle the sound behind him, but I could be wrong. The killer didn't want to be covered in blood. That's my argument, and it's true. Or they wore it. When you pull out a knife, blood rises according to the heartbeat, right? I don't know. That's why they couldn't pull a knife in front or stab them multiple times. It is certainly a possibility. But they could have used the cloth as like a cover. There's no evidence to support that, right? Huh. They didn't want to be covered in blood. Most people wouldn't. Oh, so maybe they used the cloth as like a smock. So I think we need to refute what's her face. This girl. Fukuoka. I think it's good that they it's good that there's regular intermissions so you can save and stop, but yeah, I kind of like that because like a lot of times with the trials, like you're in it for like hours and you can't stop until like the halfway mark, and it's like sometimes you gotta stop for a minute, you know? Fukuoka, just out of curiosity, you've never been to the scene? I was there. Is it because she didn't see the gray lump next to the corpse? Shouldn't the person who did the research on this be given the right to speak?
I saw it. But what exactly is it?
The cloth was crumpled and bunched up, lightly stained with Iwada's blood. Based on the shape and placement of the blood, it's reasonable to assume that it was used to stop Iwada's blood.
I see. Where did they get that cloth?
That is in the warehouse. Koreda. I like to repeat what they say. Based on what Shinano's video camera happened to catch, it was originally in the warehouse. I heard about it directly from him. How did you manage to find that?
I just got a little lucky. I walk around the school all day with my camera on. It's not that surprising to get it recorded.
I mean, it could be him too. Then the culprit was really trying to stop the blood. If you've ever held it, you'll know that it's not only big, but because of the material it's made of, it's quite heavy for its volume. The killer would have stabbed Mr. Iwada with a knife, while holding the cloth in their other hand to catch the blood that splashed out. That's counting if they have 3 arms. You think there was an accomplice?
If it's that heavy, it's definitely unnatural to hold it with one hand.
That's right. The killer would have approached Mr. Iwada with a bizarre gait, holding a heavy cloth in one hand and a knife in the other. This guy. I don't know, he makes me uncomfortable. Okay. The cloth would have been thrust forward, and the knife would have been thrust forward even more. Oh, it's ugly to think about. And when they thrust their knife forward to stab Iwada, they must have been wobbling badly because of the weight they were placed on from behind. The perpetrator isn't stupid, and should have thought of that when they thought they brought the cloth to the crime scene. But the culprit still took the cloth. Why? Because it was necessary, maybe? Yes, because it was worth the risk to stop the blood. For instance, the blood splattered on their clothes. The killer must have paid attention to that. So they didn't go to the laundromat because she was in there and she didn't see anybody else. What other choice did the perpetrator have but to bring the heavy cloth to the scene for that sole purpose? For example, prepare lighter fabric or use their own clothes. I'd already looked into that. Judging by the size and weight, that would be the most likely choice for the culprit. And don't you think it's a little silly to ask if you can use clothes? They would not leave the cloth on the ground. From the killer's point of view, it's just a bit of Iwada's blood. That item could be the easiest thing to throw away and get away with. If you use your own clothes, you're just advertising that you're the culprit.
But what if they didn't throw it away?
The killer? Do you think there's a reason for that?
There isn't?
First of all, I don't know how they would answer the question of why they're carrying an extra large cloth if they run into someone. If your route overlaps to the laundry room and you can make the excuse that you were on your way to the laundry room, you're in luck. If not, you're in trouble. But didn't she say... She said, like, no one else went in there, right? And even if you manage to get it safely into a private room, it takes time to wash the blood off. Even if you don't wash it and just hide it, it's hard to say no to someone who wants to search your private room. And it takes time to burn it. All of the killer's actions are predicted on the premise that the body will be found a short time later. Why not eliminate all unnecessary suspicious behavior? That's true. So they knew that his body would be discovered, like, immediately after. Like, I'm talking like 10 minutes, 20 minutes later. They didn't have the time to do all of that, like, cleanup stuff. Because they knew. Because they were aware of the concert. It's one of those concert people. 100%. Thanks for doing the talking for me.
Yeah. That would be a lot of work.
To summarize, the culprit was holding that heavy cloth with the intention of not allowing a single drop of blood to splash on them, and the act of not pulling the knife out of the corpse.
Yes, that's the idea.
But discussion doesn't move forward, that's all. The killer is reluctant to blood? Yes, that is clear. When you think about it, it's not that surprising. Psychologically and rationally, a murderer wouldn't want to have blood on their body. Yeah, that's a given. Then, we're not finished. This is just the process to get to that obvious fact. And now this is the real deal. Not only are you overlooking something more important, you don't even realize you're overlooking it. What is it? Tell me, with no more pause. You don't even think about it without using your eyes. You don't even think about it without using your eyes? What does she mean? Hey, Shitanda. Can I say it? I don't know if we're thinking the same thing as you. What's with that aesthetic attitude? Fine, I'll say it. We went so far as to say that the killer was extremely reluctant to have blood splashed on them. If so, the culprit was looking out for others' eyes. Okay, I get what she's saying, that they were conscious of other people being around and seeing them. Others? You mean everyone but the killer? Of course. Is there anyone else out there who's living face to face with us?
Someone else? Whoa, I thought you were asleep.
She has the same kind of vibe as Chiaki, a little bit. Like this face she's making right now, like that's Chiaki, isn't it? I love Chiaki. That's all I have to say.
Someone else.
Moving on. Here's the kicker. When did the culprit carry the cloth to the scene? Huh? Was it not when they were committing the crime? Do you think before you speak?
What? Did I miss something?
Let me explain. No, Ego. I think I know. When the killer moved the cloth to the scene... Was it the night before? It had to be the night before. The night before the incident. Or at least close to that time. Or at least there's one guy here with a brain. Why then? I have no idea. I think I get it. I like Ukyo too. We've already deduced that the culprit was extremely concerned about being seen. It is unlikely that such a culprit wouldn't have cared about what others thought when they moved the cloth, right?
Oh, that was it?
Wait, what did he say? I'm sorry. I said it. It went one ear out the other. I don't know why. I did not retain any of that. That cloth was bulky. If it was the size of the kitchen knife, they could have wrapped it with tissues or other items and hidden it inside of their clothes. But the cloth was not an item that could be hidden at all. According to Shinano, the culprit somehow managed to get the cloth from the warehouse to the scene. If these two places were right next to each other, it would be a different story. But they're somewhat separated. You're walking from the classroom to a private room or restroom, and you're nervous about being spotted with blood on you. You're telling me they would have been wary of being caught carrying a cloth from the warehouse to the classroom? Exactly. It's suicidal to carry something as conspicuous as a cloth out in the open when your body is about to be found. I'm sorry. I don't know about the weapon, but I don't think getting caught carrying something like a cloth would be that deadly. Oh? What is going on with your brain cells? Say you saw a guy walking away with a big, heavy, suspicious-looking cloth. Later, the cloth is lying at the scene of the murder. Isn't it pretty obvious what it's pointing to? I guess so. Oh, Brianna, I'm sorry. I like you too.
In their defense, they may have intended to take the cloth back and just didn't work out and they left it behind.
Bull crap. At this point, you're making excuses for them. Didn't you hear what Miyuki and Shitanda said about the clothes earlier? You'd be already drawing attention to yourself by carrying that cloth around. I don't think it's psychologically possible that someone who's going to commit murder would do something like that. Because, yeah, this is very premeditated.
Another reason, the fact that your hands could be covered in blood. Isn't it easier to just leave it on the scene than to get rid of it? It's more of a nuisance, really. Do you want to continue this defense, Mr. Knight? What's with the nickname? Call people by their names.
Oh. Trying to defend a killer like this and I'm being called for names. Oh, I'll just keep my mouth shut. If we're clear, let's move on. We were talking about when the perpetrator brought the cloth to the scene, right? At least the killer didn't take the cloth at the time of the murder. They were looking for an inconspicuous moment.
Once again, the most appropriate time would be at nighttime, when few people are awake.
You mean the culprit moved the cloth in the middle of the night? That's a mistake, because I was circling, patrolling. I did, but I never saw the killer. In the end, Iwada's death... my fault. No, it's not your fault, sweet angel. What? You've been on patrol in the middle of the night? Since when? Nighttime start to finish, no dropouts. You didn't sleep? I'm used to vigils. A few hours of nap is enough. That's impressive, but not for me. Now you know. Your methods are flawed, leader. But I too failed to keep Iwada safe. I have no right to blame you. I'll take my well-deserved punishment later. Okay, let's put aside the question of who was wearing the armband here. What we need to focus on now is when the killer moved the cloth.
And then, didn't you mention that nighttime as the night before was probably the best time to take the cloth away?
Yes. They wouldn't have had a chance outside of that time during the day. The reason for that is... not during the day. alibi. This is about this. Is it the alibi? Is it the kitchen knives? No, we're not talking about the knives right now, right? Is it everyone's alibi? No, I'm wrong. The only time the killer could have gotten the cloth to the scene was nighttime. Yes. We have solid evidence of this. Concert? The investigation also revealed that the only cloth... No, that's not right either. Sorry. I'm doing process of elimination at this point. No, okay. It has to be... I'm gonna die. Sorry. Just making sure. When Iwada decided to be in Class 1A, it was near the end of a meeting to organize a concert the day before, and it was a little after nighttime. Why would Iwada have brought the cloth in advance if he didn't know where it would be at any given time? I mean, as far as I can tell, since 10 p.m. last night. Yeah. Everyone understands this, right? I'm talking about suspicious people. Even though Iwada told them in advance when he would be in Class 1A, not everyone heard him. The people who could hear that were... Flash anagram would begin. Is that the Hangman's Gambit? No. I'm gonna hear the explanation. Okay, yeah, it is. You must hit the letters in the blanks. I hope it's not in Korean. Okay, so it's the other concert people. Okay, okay. This is Hangman's Gambit, I figured. Okay. Concert, okay. I don't remember. There were a couple I think that were in... There might have been a couple that were like... When I played, it might have been in Danganronpa another, where like there was one that was still in Korean. I don't remember though. It's been a while. 4 people made the concert. That means the culprit is among these people. Yes, we've known this the whole time. It took us an hour to get here. Yeah, it's one of you. Just before the class trial began, according to testimony heard in front of the elevator, the 4 of you had never spoken about the concert in advance. That means we can safely narrow our suspect pool to 4. Well, no one is going to change their testimony like an idiot now, are they? Guys, it's not me. You know that, right? There's no way I'm a murderer. It's too much for a little body like mine. No, you're trying to throw me off. The 100%, maybe it was you. When they start saying like,
no, I'm too little, itty bitty to do this.
It's you. I'm not a big guy either. How could someone like me just kill people? I think that's a different issue. I'm stumped on this one. Calm down, Shinano. We haven't even identified you guys as the culprit yet. If you were in the killer's position, that will only make you more suspicious. Whether they're the culprit or not, we'll see. I'm just going after the facts. So, the conclusion is the killer brought the cloth to the scene beforehand and used it to commit the crime? Yeah, that's right. I'm sure Iwada snuck it into a place where it couldn't be moved. Like a locker in the back of the classroom. Iwada brought it in? Wait. Were they going to use it for the concert? I don't remember. Or maybe it's the classroom next door. Which doesn't really matter since there's almost no difference in location between the two. Uh-huh. I see. I got it. Going from 15 suspects to 4 is a very big achievement. I'm surprised you're able to draw this much inference from only a piece of cloth lying on the ground. See, I feel like this would have been so much more, like, impactful as evidence if we didn't already know that there was only those 4 people as suspects from the very beginning, because we saw all the concert stuff from Iwada's point of view. I don't know, that's just me though.
Yes, it's an important piece of evidence with the victim's blood on it, but I didn't expect it to be used like this. It's a huge accomplishment.
Not sure. Is it really okay to proceed as it is? What? I'm asking if it's okay to trust that guess. You reasoned this with me, but why are you doubting it now? Of course, I'm aware that we thought about it together, so I'm certain there are no other errors. What I'm saying is that there are other possibilities. Can you elaborate on that, Mr. Shitanda? Our reasoning is based on the fact that taking the cloth is suspicious. Does it have to be? Of course. If you want to hide the cloth naturally, you'd have no other clothes left. You'd have to do it in some other way, but that method is more unnatural. It's a big cloth, so of course the things it's used to hide have to be big too, and the things that stand out are... Sorry, my dog is barking right now. She won't stop. Oh, crap. What? What's that supposed to mean? Did I fail to notice this possibility and ignored it? Ooh, she's barking really bad. I'm sorry. I know you can't hear it, but I can. I'm sorry, everyone. Feel free to yell at me. Whoa, is this a chance for revenge? Oh, time to unite. Those who have been ignored by ego. I'll have plenty of words for you after the trial. Anyway, what was that oversight? She literally said it. Didn't ego mention that such a big cloth was carried? So the things it hides must be big too. And the same goes for things that stand out. I don't get what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about. But there are people among us who can't stand out even when they are carrying something that big. Right? They've been carrying it since our first meeting. Someone's carrying something big? Don't tell me. This girl? The cello girl? Her? There's no way it's her. Are you referring to Tadira? Wait, is it actually her? No, it could be. She was one of the suspects anyway. I just ruled her out because she was too similar to that other girl from another game that has nothing to do with this. Anyway, I'm gonna go right back in. My dog is really barking like crazy right now. It's very annoying.
Yes?
Ira, you can't be serious. Who else could it be? Among the 15 of us, Tadira is the only one who carries something this big. That cello bag. That's... If it was a violin, maybe not. But a cello is pretty big, and so is the bag. If you take the cello out and crumple the cloth inside, it could be just about the right size. He's not wrong, like that. That's true. The fact that the cloth was left at the scene in that state might also support this.
No. There are only 2 times I take my cello out of my bag. When I play it and when I take care of it.
But you were gonna play it for the concert, right? Right?
I didn't take out a cello to hide cloth inside.
You call that a why don't we leave it at that? It's not like Tadira has been identified as the culprit. No, we can't just leave it. There are still 2 paths open to us. It is possible that the perpetrator concealed the cloth with something and carried it openly, or it is possible that the culprit carried it out sneakily without concealment. The former is only available to Tadira, and the latter is only available to the concert organizers. Either way, there's Tadira involved, but in the end, it's useless unless it reduces the likelihood of the latter, don't you think? Okay, she has a bit of a point there. Miss Masaki is right. As long as the latter possibility remains, pressing the opponent towards the former won't lead to a clear conclusion. Well, that's true. So let's take it a step back this time. An indiscreet attack and suddenly backing off? Not good attitude. I just offered the possibility. Or did you just want to look at it as an indiscretion on someone we don't know? Even so, you can remember it, right? The killer hid the cloth and took it to the scene. In the end, the story of the concert should be back on track. It's not possible to make a final decision without the end of the story.
Then, where do we proceed with the story further?
How about this? I've been wondering since a while back. Anything is good. Can you tell us?
Why did Iwada move? Like, you would try to move while being stabbed.
Do you have the confidence to crawl with your what? Do you have the confidence to crawl with a knife in your back and ask for help? I don't have that. Sorry, there's something in my shoe. I thought it was like a spider or something. Sorry. I don't know what to say when you put it that way, but I thought it was a little weird that he didn't move a single step. Iwada's cause of death was asphyxiation, so it must have been quite a while before he choked on his own blood. It's a little concerning that he did not move at all. Do you have any autopsy results that you're not sharing with us, Kizuki?
No. I've told you everything and that's it. I don't have any more information, so I'm guessing at this point. For example, he may have been knocked out by a blow to the lungs. Maybe he was knocked down by a sudden attack and had an unfortunate bump to the floor or furniture, resulting in a concussion.
Iwada's body. There was no trauma other than stab wound. Is concussion possible?
The trauma is when the skull is damaged or the brain is traumatized. It may not show up on the surface. That's why I said it's a guessing game.
Mr. Iwada was also incapacitated by stabbing, so even a mild concussion could have left him immobile. Alright, my dog's barking a lot like somebody's at the door.
Perhaps. Not sure if it's a fainting or a concussion. It's a shame, because if he had been able to move at all, he might have been able to reach out for help somehow.
If he'd screamed, maybe someone would have heard him?
That's ridiculous. The knife was stuck in his lungs.
Huh? Of course you're gonna scream when you're in pain. He's been stabbed in the lungs, right?
How do I explain this? You know that the lungs expand when air comes in and shrink when air goes out, right?
Wow, really? Girl. What a nitwit. Did you fall asleep in life science or humanities? Do you not have common sense? But why are we suddenly talking about this? An idiot will always remain an idiot, no matter what. I don't have a secondary education because I rarely take classes in the first place. Sorry about that, you highly educated people.
Think of your lungs as a kind of balloon. They inflate when air comes in and deflate when air goes out. So what if you poke a needle into this balloon?
It's gonna explode, right?
The lungs are similar. They don't explode, but the pressure difference between the outside and inside is significantly reduced. It can no longer hold air. The Because your voice is the sound of air in your lungs going through your vocal cords, right? This makes it hard to make a voice when you have a big hole in your lungs. That's why Iwada couldn't scream. Oh, I see now.
Yes, Tsubaki. You did a good job pointing that out. Let's move the story further from here.
Eh?
You said it yourself, didn't you? Iwada didn't move from his spot. Think about the condition in which the body was found. He was stabbed in the back. What if we take this idea further? Ego seems to know something. What direction is she trying to take the conversation? I need to listen carefully to what's coming next. Okay, here we go. 시작. Jumanji's account, noisy floor, everyone's out. I think it's gonna end up being the noisy floor. Being stabbed in the back. Obviously, he must have turned toward his back when he was stabbed. If he turned forward, he wouldn't have had a knife in his back. This estimates I didn't get it. Iwada didn't know the culprit's face. He was stabbed without being able to see clearly. Iwada must have been cleaning when it did. It's not strange he didn't look back. If only he could see who the culprit was. He could have made a dying message. It was not possible to begin with lack of blood. I hate when they're like this, and it's like that in all these games. Drives me nuts. Iwada must have been looking on his back. What does that mean? Looking on his back? I'm confused. Wait, he was looking on his back? He would have heard. I'm guessing it's the creaky floor because he would have heard and he could have turned around. I think looking on his back, does that mean like turning around? I need to see what the other person said that I missed. He must have turned toward his back when stabbed. If he turned forward, he wouldn't have had a knife in his back. This eliminates the chance that he may have fought. Iwada didn't know the culprit's face. He was stabbed without being able to see clearly. Iwada must have been cleaning when he did. It wasn't strange if he didn't look from behind. So do I refute her stuff? Okay, I'm gonna try to refute her. That girl. Whose name I keep forgetting with the hat. I'm gonna refute hers, because he would have looked back. Because of the noisy floor, right? Am I wrong? Okay. Okay, good. I never know with non-stop debates. Genuinely. They have perplexed me since I started playing these games. Well, wouldn't that be strange?
Huh? What do you mean?
No one else but you, as a concert goer, who has been at the scene longer than the most, should know that. The floor in Class 1A is very squeaky. Remember?
Oh. Come to think of it, that's true, isn't it?
It was definitely bad, and I was walking as quietly as I could for fear of disturbing everyone if I made a sound. I can't believe I sounded that loud. I've become an inconvenience again. The point is, if the footsteps were that loud, there's no way Iwada wouldn't have turned around. It's not that he's insensitive, it's just that he's a very polarizing guy, and there's no way he would have given up his back so easily. That is true, he was very paranoid about dying. He was like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. He was in his room for days. Because he was sure he was gonna die. And he did. But I feel like even the slightest movement would have startled him. Or sound and stuff would have startled him.
Well, what if they killed the sound by putting something other than shoes on their feet?
Even so, it's pressure on the floor anyway. So shouldn't it make a sound?
What if you were walking on a desk or a chair instead of the floor?
Even so, it's pressure on the floor anyway. So shouldn't it make a sound? And what about when you have to go from desk to the floor? They're trying to be as careful as possible, but their belly button is bigger than their stomach. What? What's he talking about? Genuinely... Right. First, the culprit planned this to a very meticulous extent, as evidenced by their behavior in preparing the cloth. But how the desks will be arranged when they get to the classroom is a pure gamble. The meeting didn't give them detailed instructions on how the desks were set up. A killer who prepares a cloth while planning a murder, taking into account the blood splatter. Don't you think it's weird? To think how they approach their victim is left up to the heavens. Did they actually use the cloth to walk on it? Gee, guess this isn't my place to be. How thorough your reasoning that you can just make an opinion and get a rebuttal in real time so quickly? Given the environment of the classroom, it was bound to make noise, and yet Iwada never looked back. Why?
Maybe Iwada had something in his ears? Like earplugs or something?
This is refutable for a couple of reasons. First, there was no such object anywhere near Iwada's body. Second, Iwada's chores didn't require such things. Third, he was paranoid and he would never.
It could have been taken by the culprit for whatever reason. Or maybe Iwada just doesn't like to make noise when he's doing his normal work.
Crucially, Iwada hadn't let his guard down. If he's out in the open on his own, will he shut off his senses on his own will? No. There's more evidence. Monokuma said something to someone.
Someone?
Fukuoka's words reminded me of that. The one who said it was... I don't remember. Who's the suspect? I don't know. What are we talking about? Monokuma said something to somebody. Who? Who did Monokuma say? You think I'm paying attention to that? Okay, who was talking to Monokuma? I'm just gonna start clicking randomly on the people who were concert goers. Wrong. I have no idea. I don't know. You. Wrong. I have no idea. Genuinely, not a clue. No. Who was Monokuma talking to? Like I remember. I genuinely have no idea. You? I'm going by process of elimination here. She has nothing to do with it. Why did I even do that? She literally is irrelevant. Yeah, I know. What am I doing? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Jeez. Nope. I'm guessing I genuinely have no idea what they're talking about, and if you're yelling at your screen at me right now, I apologize. I'm just stupid. I'm guessing everyone is... Him? Why? Mikawa. Him. This guy somehow hasn't managed to pee in front of that bear. Me? Yes, Mikawa. If you remember, can you tell us? That's... I heard something from Monokuma.
Whoa, he's vibrating. It's like a human motor.
Mikawa, calm down. Ooh, but they're all expecting my testimony. I never had so many people expecting something from me. Oh, I can't stand all these eyes on me. What kind of sickness is this? It's social anxiety, okay? A lot of people have it, me included. He's not going to be able to testify to anything. It might be beneficial to look away, don't you think? Wait, I think I get it. You mean that time in the diner where he said Mikawa used the earplugs because of his sleeping habits? That's why. I don't remember that. That's been months ago for me. I'm sorry. That's my own fault though for spacing it out too much. That's just me being like not in the mood to sit down and play this. Like, I feel like I need to be in, like, the right mood to play fangans, because, like, then I can't give it my all, and I want to be able to, like, be invested, and if I'm just, like, trying to click through it to get it over with, I'd rather just not play. So that's my own fault. I had no idea. After that, Monokuma told him there are no earplugs or anything like that here. Ah, I get it. That's much more reliable and direct information than my reasoning. Thank you. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I thought the treatment was somehow different.
It was a treatment for a person who doesn't help. Do you have any complaints? Alright. So it's safe to say that your opinion has been crushed, Fukuoka.
Yeah. That does make sense.
That's because... Why are you refuting me? Why is it you, the bane of my existence? Oh, wait. Don't give up so easily. What is it? Oh, I hate this part. Well, the topic right now is about the possibility that Iwada didn't hear those footsteps. Correctamundo? There are plenty of other possibilities for that reason. The rebuttal showdown. I'm going to listen to the explanation so I know what key to press. Use the up, down, left, right keys to cut the incoming letters. As you cut, the protagonist will have a chance to argue back. Okay. In the event of an objection like this, you'll enter one-on-one discussion, blah, blah, blah. We know what these are. So we do cut through the words, and then we refute another thing. The mood is tilting toward you more by a certain amount, you'll change what they say. The conversation involves exposing weaknesses. Those exposed weaknesses can be slashed with a truth blade. Okay, if you refute a statement that can be refute a statement that can be refuted with an appropriate truth blade, the game will end. If you can change the truth blade with the shift key. Okay. Hopefully they just give me one, make it easy for me. You can change it and then use with space. Now let's begin. Okay. The hardest part with these is like I have to read it and do it at the same time, and I'm incapable of doing that. Cloth source Jumanji's account, Monokuma File 1. Okay. The possibility presented. Oops. It's possible the sound of the floor is obscured by a sound other than people. Did you not consider that? I can't believe we went over this. I can't get it. Oh, shift spacebar. Whoops. I want to be able to read it. See, this is the problem. If I can't listen to it and they're not speaking and I have to read it at the same time as doing this, I want to read it. I have to sit up now. Yeah, I'm losing. It's possible the floor is obscured by sound other than people. Did you not consider that? I can't believe without even mentioning everyone is so impatient. Obscured by other sounds. Even so, Iwada would have been wary hearing those sounds. I can't read it. Even when it's on the side, there's no way I'm reading that. Don't you think your argument is gullible? You really need to listen to what I'm saying. Did sound had passed through? I think I heard a comment about it from someone. You did? Am I supposed to refute something? What am I refuting here? I'm so confused. What's happening? Isn't it supposed to be lit up what I'm supposed to refute here? What sound have passed through? Is it Jumanji's account? If he's talking about it has to be hearing it from somebody? I don't know what I'm doing. There it is. I didn't see it that it was yellow. I hate when the words are sideways. I can't read it like that. I can barely read it when it's regular. Oh, it's getting hot down here. Okay. No, Shitanda. I have heard someone tell us something about that. Jumanji said she's been in the laundry room since 6 a.m. and hasn't seen or heard anything. I did mention that. I've been in the laundry room since 6 o'clock, and I haven't seen or heard anything. That was me when I was in college. I did my laundry. I was in the dorms, and I did my laundry whenever I had to do laundry, I did it so early in the morning, like 6 a.m., because I knew nobody else would be in there. Because I was trying so hard to avoid all the other people. Because listen, one time when I was a freshman, that was more than 10 years ago at this point, let's not talk about it, in college, I came back to get my laundry, and there was some guy was like handling my clothes, and I was like, no, that was horrible. Like, he was touching all my stuff, and it was a horrible experience. So ever since then, I would wake up, even if I didn't have a class till like 2 p.m. I'd wake up at like 5 something, so I can do my laundry, because I just wanted to avoid people at all costs. The laundry room and diner are close by. I'm sure the conditions for hearing sounds in the diner, laundry room, and classrooms are similar. But if we don't know if a sound from the classroom will reach the diner, do we? Yeah, I'd be comfortable with that if we had solid reason. There's certainly evidence to support that. You remember Misaki? Kizuki, Tomoe, and Tadaira were there. So you guys know too. Oh? Are you referring to the time when Mr. Mikawa found a spider corpse in his desk? Yeah. Mikawa let out a scream inside the B1 classroom that was heard by all 4 of us all the way through the diner. If it was loud enough to drown out the sound of the floor, how could it not have reached Jumanji's ears? Well, that's a pretty good argument. Chitanda, you have a point, but the fact is that's a flawed line of reasoning. It's a possibility that should have been mentioned in the first place. Why did you have to go off on your own, Chitanda? What? Did you have that in mind too? I shouldn't have done that. How could you be so confident about that without considering this? What? Why are you guys talking like this is something you two already know? This sounds a bit odd. It sounds like Ego and Chitanda are talking like they know the correct answer. Oh, they do. They know who it is. I didn't expect Chitanda to be like, you know, one of the people good in the class trials. I'm a little... just because I really don't like him for some reason. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that guy that I just can't stand. It's his face. Yeah. Miyuki just said that Chitanda's reasoning was wrong, but the truth is the opposite. Which means Chitanda's correct. Wait, excuse me? There's nothing more to say about a sound loud enough to erase the sound of the floor. What do you have in mind? Referring to that possibility, perhaps Jumoji's testimony was mistaken? There's no way. Jumanji has already been eliminated as a suspect, and so her testimony's credible. In other words, there are things that even Jumanji wouldn't have noticed. Can't be. Wait, what? What are they talking about? Miyuki? Did you think of something? Yeah. I see why Iwada didn't turn around when he heard it. That's because... Because? Oh, there's an R. M? I have no idea. No, that's wrong. Yeah, why can't I get stupid? No, M is wrong too. So it has to be A. Alarm? I get confused when there's 2 letters together. I know that's because it's from the Korean translation, but I still get confused. I can't... Why? Alarm? Okay. Let's just do it. Let's get it done. It's because of that wake-up alarm. That loud announcement, the one that rings at 7 o'clock sharp. Oh! So, he didn't hear them at all, because the announcement was going off. Whoa. So they killed him, and they found the body like 3 minutes later or something crazy like that. That's right. We never thought about the morning announcement. Yeah. The loud sound in the morning hours that everybody knows. It's basically nothing but an announcement. So the bing bong announcement sound. That's when they did it. It's not that no one heard it, but that no one was aware of it. We were completely caught off guard. Is this my fault? That's not true. Honestly, I think it's strange that people would care to notice something like that. Well, if the lack of thinking is at fault, who should I say that's a flaw to begin with?
In other words, they took advantage of the time when the morning announcement was going off and walked behind Iwada so that no footsteps could be heard. So that's how it happened. Even if the sound wasn't loud enough to completely cover up the footsteps, Mr. Iwada's eyes would have focused on the monitor for a second. So they would have taken advantage of that opportunity. In fact, the wake-up alarm was loud enough to make this assumption meaningful. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm spooked every time I hear it.
Are you?
I don't know. She's saying things like, oh, I'm too little, and oh, the thing scares me.
Then it has been explained why Mr. Iwada did not look back. I had no idea the morning announcement was used for this plot. Yes, and there is a fact that follows from this. The wake-up alarm goes off at 7 a.m., so the time of the crime is 7 o'clock sharp. Of course, there may be an error of a few seconds from the perfect 7 o'clock sharp. The estimated time of death written in the Monokuma file was between 6 and 7:30, right? The length of 1 hour and 30 minutes was narrowed down in an instant. With this, we can reduce one more person. It's as they say. According to the testimony we already heard, there are 2 people with alibis at 7 o'clock sharp. Misaki Kuzu and Rintaro Tomoe. You said you saw each other coming out of the private room at 7 o'clock sharp, right? See, it's not Misaki. I knew it wasn't, but I kind of, I had a little sliver of a hope that it might be. Just for the drama. I'm sorry for being late. I'm human after all. There are times when I oversleep. So I quickly got ready and opened the door at the same time as the morning announcement. Tomoe was also coming out at the same time, so our eyes met. Yes, I did. As soon as the alarm rang, we opened the door and saw each other. I can say that there is no mistake there. Since I am not currently a suspect, you can certainly trust my testimony, right? I, Tomoe Rintaro, definitely guarantee this. There is no doubt about it. Kuzu, you're off the suspect list. And then there were 3. It's good that doubts about me have been cleared. But what about the rest? Is there any way to exclude more suspects? Of course there is. The fact that the time of the crime is exactly 7 a.m., there's still a way to use it. And that may be... the culprit had a weapon. You mean the culprit had prepared the weapon before 7 a.m.? There's no way the weapon could have come out of nowhere at exactly 7 a.m. Oh, that's exactly what that means. They've been looking for a chance before 7 o'clock, holding a kitchen knife in their hand, waiting for the morning announcement to go off. Hoping that the sound of the floor would be sufficiently obscured. If that's the case, how is it connected to the culprit? Still don't know. If you think about the characteristics of the weapon, you can see it, right? characters because it's a knife from the kitchen. And the kitchen dining room isn't open before 7, so they must have gotten it the night before. But then that other girl was in there till 7 p.m. So they had to have gotten the knife between when Ego was there and nighttime. Should we discuss this together? It's the kitchen knife. Shijak. It's Ego's account. Characteristics of the weapon? Does that mean there's something unique about the knife? Just think about it. A knife is sharp. It has a blade on one side. Yes, thanks. You're thinking too simplistically. That's not it. Additionally, the weapon was inside the kitchen. Yes, it was. However, no witnesses were present, therefore cannot verify. That's it. Okay, I thought I could maybe catch it, but no. Perhaps when they were moving to the classroom. Okay, I know what it is. Why did I just do that? I clicked the wrong button like an idiot. Isn't one of them a little strange? No, that's wrong. That was Makoto. No, that's wrong. That's actually not true, Justin. There are witnesses. Oh, very good news. Hope to hear it. Before we get to that, Ego, you sure you didn't tell everyone about this testimony? Huh? No, that's unlikely. He probably wasn't paying attention. Justin, is that correct? I think it's possible. It requires thinking skills. It's difficult, judging evidence and testimony. He caught all kinds of criminals, but in the end, he confidently said that he would provide help. I apologize, my lack of. Jumanji, are you in a position to say that? I've seen you glancing at a few pages of a book during this whole discussion. I am listening and understanding this. Anyway, most people already heard it right. I saw all 4 knives were still in the diner until 7 p.m. So that means the culprit took the knife after 7 p.m.? I wish we could reduce the time. It can be reduced, which is why we're talking about this right now. Really? Are you nervous? You nervous? Because it's you? Of course. That's where the keyword, time of the crime, shines again. Mr. Shatanda and Miss Ego, do you mind if I ask a question? How much do you know? You two have been leading most of the discussions for a while. Mr. Shatanda and Miss Ego, it's like you know everything and point out the topics as we go. They've already figured it out. Oh, if you're starting to suspect me, then I have nothing more to say. Even if I tell you, it doesn't matter. I already know who the culprit is. Me too, roughly. I still need to verify it. Didn't you mention you didn't know before the trial began? I guess I lost some humility in that regard. I spoke confidently. But wouldn't it be shameful if the answer was wrong? I reconsidered it several times and it seemed my initial conclusion was reasonable. Then why are you dragging it out? You could just tell us, right? Ah, those words struck hard. If this seems like dragging to you, then you really don't understand the point of the class trial. What? Let's say, as an example, I say the culprit's name first. Then, of course, countless question marks will follow. Why are they the culprit? Then I will have to explain to these questions one by one on why they are the culprit. This won't be the best course of action on your very own good. No, what? For your own good. Why did I say it like that? Which is why it will take a very considerable amount of time to understand. More importantly, the culprit then will hear my explanation and immediately put up an excuse on the spot, which gives the culprit room to fight back. Yeah, no, that's reasonable. I hate agreeing with this guy. The bane of my existence. But if the discussion leads to a consensus that points to the culprit, then the culprit's escape route will be blocked. Oh, that is exactly my point. Do you understand, Tsubaki?
I think so. No, wait, why are you picking on me? It was Shinano who asked the question.
Either way, does the fact that the crime was committed at 7 a.m. help narrow down the time when the culprit took the weapon? Of course. This was also laid out pretty clearly. I think we already know. The place where the kitchen knives exist is obviously the kitchen. Just before the class trial, Mr. Shitanda asked a question through Miss Misaki's mouth. According to the question, no one moved the kitchen knife. That's a weird phrasing. So here's the next question. This is something I ask everyone. Has anyone moved a kitchen knife, the weapon, to a place other than the diner, or moved the cloth left on the scene to a place other than the warehouse? No one raised their hand this time. I see. Thank you, everyone. I guess that question was aimed for this purpose, right? Of course. Can't miss a little validation. So the knife was in the kitchen until the culprit took it. I think I understand. So it can be said with certainty that the culprit took the knife not this morning. What? Why is that? Because the kitchen is closed! If you think about it, it's only natural. Because the diner is closed before 7 a.m. Oh, that's right!
It may not be that surprising, but I was definitely hidden on a blind spot this time. We were so preoccupied with the concept of the time of the crime that we forgot to connect it to the facts that were clearly given to us.
The culprit committed the crime at 7 a.m. this morning, which of course they must prepare the weapon in advance. But the diner is closed until 7 a.m., so they can't get to the kitchen, which is only accessible through the diner, so they can't take it out in that time. So this is how everything played out. From 10 p.m. last night when the diner was locked, to 7 a.m. this morning, it was impossible. And since Ego testified to seeing the knife at 7 o'clock last night, the time the killer left with the weapon must have been between 7 o'clock and 10 p.m. yesterday. In addition, the suspects are all related to the concert, and the organizers said that they had been in a meeting since 9 p.m., which would make the rest of the time from 7 to 9 yesterday. Yeah, and for all I know, there's a couple of people in between who have a full alibi. One of them is even from the concert party. Guess who it is? Yeah, I know. Their name is... It's, this one, right? Because of the video camera. Shinano, you are not the killer. Because the camera... Where is it? Shinano was with Sarashina during the whole time. True to his word, he interviewed me from 7 to 9 p.m. And as soon as he left the room, he was confronted by Misaki in their company. There would be no time for him to obtain the knife. Yeah, it was definitely from 7 to 9, right? So I'm safe, right? Alright. With that, we've got one more person. One shot away from the killer. 2 suspects left. Her and her... It's gotta be... I don't know. It could be either of them, honestly. I'm not... I mean, Tadira seems like the most obvious because of the tarp fitting in her cello case. Right? But, like, they could pull, like, a little switcheroo. Like, the other one, she was trying to throw everybody off. Be like,
no, I'm too tiny. I can't possibly ever do that.
You know? Let's see. If the killer was traveling with something like a cello bag to conceal the cloth, the suspect is Tadira. And if they were not undercover, then the suspects are Tadira and Fukuoka. Tadira, there's no place for you to fit in here, is there? I'm not the culprit. I'm not. Then are you claiming Miss Tadira is the culprit? It's not like that. I really don't know, but I'm not the culprit. Well, I'm not saying that Tadira is suspicious based on this alone. Has anyone else noticed? The strange thing is, our discussion so far has revealed that Iwada was stabbed at 7 a.m. And Tadira said she was going back to the classroom a little after 7 a.m. According to Tadira's testimony, she hasn't done anything else in the meantime. So the time between when Kuzu finds her and when she arrives at the classroom could be similar. The situation in which Iwada disappeared somewhere during that time was originally clearly suspicious, but the deductions made so far have made it even more suspicious. Is it because Iwada was attacked at 7 a.m. and he fell on the classroom floor? Exactly. No matter how you look at it, it's perjury. Bingo! I expected you thought about it at this point. Please, everyone, please trust me. You all know very well that I would never commit murder. No, even if we try not to doubt you, it's just that no matter how we look at it, seems like you are the culprit. If you appeal to emotions like that, nothing can be solved. If you are not the killer, refute it with logical grounds. Why did you commit perjury? Unless you are the culprit, there's no way you would dare to make such a strange lie. You are the killer. Does anyone have any other thoughts? Everyone agrees, right? I mean, it seems the most obvious that it's her. But is it? Is it not Fuko? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Tadira is the killer? Is that really it? See, he says things like that. It's not her. I think it's the other girl. Because she's so like,
Oh, I'm so itty bitty tiny. I could never.
there certainly seems to be no loophole in Shitanda's claim. And it's not strange that Tadira would become the culprit. But some kind of alarm rings inside my head, as if I were at the crossroads to live or die. Maybe I'm missing something? Could it be that the conclusion we worked so hard to reach was simply a factor to make our thinking stop? But then, where do I start looking back in this case?
Excuse me. The atmosphere is quite harsh. Can I say something?
Say it!
Excuse you, you idiot.
What's wrong, Kana?
I know what you're all thinking. Why is it that the guy who is spoiling the mood now is taking over? Is this it? So far, everyone was talking. I will too. Let's talk.
If you're going to talk at that pace, I'd rather you don't speak. Nico, hush for now.
This mood right now. Honestly, it's no good for you. Before you know it, you'll be swept along here and there, wherever Shitanda leads.
Yeah, I don't blame her for being like, why is he the leader now? I don't want him to be the leader either, because I just can't stand him. Swept away. That's a weird phrase. Because what I'm doing is perfectly reasonable and logical. Did I contradict myself? Did I reach straws? Did I make a logical leap? You all nodded in agreement. Especially you, Kana. You haven't said a single word all this time. And then all of a sudden, you open your mouth and you say something like that? I honestly have no idea what you're trying to say.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a situation where at some point we give up thinking and just listen to what Shitanda says. When you're in a situation, we only agree. That's what I mean.
I agree. We shouldn't just be like, yeah, just exactly what he says is true. Like, completely only go off his. Like, we have to, like, make 100% sure, you know? keep on thinking. Are you not satisfied with this conclusion? If you have any other ideas, then please let me know. You're telling me this girl is not modeled off of Chiaki Sprite? That's the exact same Chiaki face right there.
That?
Well, I don't know. What? You don't know what you're saying? That's a Chiaki Sprite too, actually. I know something else. If you're not going to contribute anything helpful, I'd appreciate it if you'd keep quiet. Because it's distracting everyone. Yeah, distracting them from blindly following you. It's a pretty rare sight for you to open your mouth. Are you overwhelmed by the atmosphere? Don't be afraid to talk about it. It's okay to be strong.
He always behaves like that. I don't think that's strange.
While it's true that Kana is known for her occasional outbursts, this one has a very different meaning than others. Is this just a mere feeling? No, go with your gut. Like, your gut's telling you it's not Tadaira, it's the other girl. I turn my head unconsciously toward Kana, whose mouth is firmly shut. What? What is this? Huh? Huh? She's looking at me. She's looking at me. The next moment, I was looking at Kana squarely in the eye. If we were to draw a line, we would meet exactly in a straight line, staring at each other without the slightest distraction, shining with unflinching brilliance. The power floating through my eyes, which were wrapped in a thick feather-like eyelashes, completely consumed me. Rose making intense eye contact right now. Surprise transforms into fear. I hold my breath in a monologue of this unknown knowledge. To me, it was like being swept away by the tranquil waves while losing my footing. What did she do? Miyuki? Huh? I suddenly woke up. How long have I been in that state? What, did she hypnotize me or something? She's like, Was I mistaken? I don't know, they had some kind of something going on with their eyes there. Are you okay? You've been standing for a long time in a dazed position. I'm fine. It's nothing special, just... Somehow, I happened to realize something. I have to give this credit to Kana. What? What are you talking about? What did you realize? Miyuki, your choice of wording is odd. I'm guessing you know something different than what Shitanda thinks. I can say, I know the truth about this case. Oh yeah? Let's hear it, shall we? Sure, but there's a catch. What is it? What I'm about to tell you may be a great disrespect towards Tadaira. I'm not even sure I can justify doing this. What? Listen, he might have gotten that weird eye contact knowledge thing, but I didn't. I have no idea what he's talking about. Tadaira, will you be okay? She seems to know what he's talking about.
Is there really the only way to do this?
I'm really sorry. I should have thought of another way. I would have taken it, but I'm not good enough. What? What are you talking about something that's only between you two?
Would you rather I reveal it myself?
It'll look better if I tell them than you do. What is he talking about? Just in case there's someone who would nitpick.
You have to. It can't be helped. It might have been something I should have mentioned anyway. Thank you, Miyuki.
I am so sorry. Thank you. What? I am lost? Hey, Miyuki, I got this. Huh? What you're trying to say? I'll say it. You say you'll tell us, but you're just dragging your feet now. No, I was already going to say it. No, they are talking about something only they know. Please put some pressure on it too. It's no big deal. I know what Miyuki is trying to say. Ego took the initiative from me very naturally. Why? Is it really because of my delay? I wonder if she's If it's something really bad, maybe she's taking it so she can take the fall. She's probably like, people don't like me anyway. But if you do it, they won't like it. I don't know. I don't know. This whole thing is very bizarre. Tadira has compiled. Tadira, I'm like, compiled what? Tadira has complied, and there's nothing more to worry about anymore. But isn't this a bit of an unnatural reason? What do you mean? Weren't you here when Mr. Shitanda was framing Miss Tadira as the culprit? Yes, we should get that out of the way first. Let's start with this one. Hey, Shitanda. Eh? How long are you going to do that crap? I've been watching, but I don't know how long I can wait. Yeah, it's not like you wouldn't notice. That? Ego, what do you mean? The bottom line is, Shitanda was looking at her. The truth is, he was testing you by stopping one step short of the truth. In that aspect, Kana just hit the nail on the head. I don't know if she intended to, but... Shitanda, is this true? Of course. To return to what he told you, there's no way he didn't notice the truth. So he's saying the wrong thing on purpose to test everybody. See, he's a weasel. That's what he is, just weasel. First, let's hear what the truth is. The players over there are eager to know already and starting to pop off. Hey, what do you mean, players? He thinks that this is the game. He's one of those guys, like, stand him. He's like, this is just a game. This is fun. You know, he's one of those. No biggie. Just ignore it.
I'd like an explanation too. I need to know this something before I'm convinced.
I agree. Ego, can you tell us? Sure. Let's begin the explanation. 시작. Oh gosh, noisy floor, blood stain, everyone's alibi, Shinano's account. First, you know everything about Tadira's perjury, right? The context about Iwada's disappearance and discovery. Iwada must have been stabbed since 7 a.m. while collapsing in the classroom, referring to this. The cause of death was asphyxiation due to blood. It would have taken some time to die from that. Was she covering? Iwada's body would have been lying in that place after 7 a.m. Wait, you're saying because it was too clean? So what? Did the body move on his own 2 feet? Then is there an accomplice? Someone moved him against his will? Ego's tone is a bit judgmental, but it is well founded. The basis for this was all in my head. What am I supposed to refute here? Let's see. Everyone's alibi? Bloodstain? Since 7 a.m. This one's harder. Blood. Yes, that's true. Nothing to do with the topic. Would have been lying in that place after 7 a.m. Yes. Then someone moved it? So, I'm confused. What's happening right now? Is Tadira an accomplice? Did she know what happened? And she's covering for Hat Girl? Fu something? I forget her name. Willingly or not, the body wouldn't have moved in the first place. Okay, sorry. I got a phone call I had to take, but I am back here. Okay. It's back. Willingly or not, the body wouldn't have moved in the first place. There's no trace of blood anywhere. Only a little bit was oozing from his mouth in the stab wound. Alright. Even if there was a small amount of bloated blood, and they can get over it by taking it in a container or something, the premise of the reasoning is that the killer was extremely averse to being seen. If such a culprit was so thorough? Was so thorough. Do you think they would move the body? Did you think before saying that? Oath. Oath. Why is she saying oath? I'm so confused. From now on, oh, because she's making an oath. Duh.
From now on, Hiyori Tsubaki, swear that I will never give an opinion during a class trial.
Well done. Here's my seal of approval. Wow, that's harsh. In any case, we've established that Tadira's testimony is completely contradictory. If the testimony is different from reality, there are two possibilities. The discrepancy was intended, or it wasn't.
So either way, they're lying, or they're mistaken.
Okay, so before we get into each of those two possibilities, let's get this out of the way. Is Tadira the culprit or not? I think I'm getting the picture. As we've discussed at length, the killer was concerned with the eyes of others as much as possible. In other words, they've gone out of their way to avoid giving us even the slightest reason to suspect them. As if that wasn't bad enough, Tadira was found wandering outside by Misaki. She even made the unbelievable statement that Iwada disappeared from the classroom. It's unlikely that this set of behavior is the action of the culprit. Did she anticipate all this, making those testimonies and actions? That said, that does sound like a stretch even for me. Without that kind of testimony and behavior, it's not even questionable. What point is there for the culprit to get our attention? They tried to bury themselves as quietly as much as possible. But now we're down to 2 suspects anyway, which we still suspect. What if she said that with the expectation that it would lead to this point? Could they have anticipated the testimonies about Ego and the knife, my testimony about the cloth, and all the other trivialities? How on earth would she know that if she wasn't there? Whoa, Shinano. Can't believe you're capable of such logical thinking. What? You think I can't do that? Anyway, as he said, it's very strange that Tadira is the culprit. Even so, we're back at this intersection.
It was because of 2 things, a lie or a mistake. Let's begin with the former. Why lie if you're not guilty?
Tadira talks to Kuzu and comes to the conclusion that they need to mobilize Miyuki and Tomoe to find Iwada. She would be discovered in a heartbeat, and she didn't want anyone else to see Iwada. It's hard to say that she was lying for an ulterior motive. That leaves us with the possibility that she just made a mistake. Isn't that strange? A corpse located in the middle of the classroom. I don't see the possibility of it suddenly disappearing. Did the culprit hide it somewhere and bring it back for some reason? It was mentioned before. There's no way the body could be moved. It's unlikely that a killer who doesn't want to be seen would travel with a dead body. So Tadira saw it first, and she lied and tried to cover for this girl right here in the hat. The body was there, and Tadira just didn't see it. As Justin puts it, there's no way she could have walked past a body without seeing it. Right? So she had to have seen it. No way. My conclusion is this. Tadira, haven't you been hiding the fact that you're blind all along? Is she? Is that why her eyes are closed? I just thought she was like Brock from Pokemon. Okay, there's always those ones that have their eyes closed for no reason. Is she?
I was bound to be found out eventually. Yes, that's correct. I am visually impaired.
What? What? God. That is surprising. I didn't see that one coming. Since when has this been the case?
It's been so long I can't even remember it. Of course, it was a disease that I had long before I became famous.
None of us noticed the slightest bit, but how were you hiding it?
It's just natural, because I've always been very careful not to give away the fact that I'm blind. I was taught echolocation from a young age, and I rarely left my room except to eat.
Oh, so she thought he wasn't there because she couldn't hear him, because he was dead on the floor. echolocation? What the heck is that?
It's the technology that sends out sound waves, bounces them off of things, and listens to the sound waves that come back and, guesses where things are. It takes a lot of discipline, but it works.
So you're like a bat?
I wondered if it was really possible. I've read about it in a book. You can simply play sports like basketball. You can play sports like basketball. Is that true? Oh, indeed. Some people do. Of course, I usually rely on my bodyguards, so I don't need that level of mastery. Just knowing where things are. I should have trained more thoroughly when I realized I was going to be dropped into an environment with no one around, let alone bodyguards. It took a long time for you to tell us. That was all you needed to avoid suspicion, isn't it? It might be a little selfish and rude to say, but I wanted you to eliminate me as a suspect by other means, if possible. Of course, I thought I'd save this piece for last if nothing else worked.
The selfish mindset, not thinking, the possibility of being cornered. In that case, possibility exists. I don't understand. It is right decision to say it beforehand.
Yes, I'm being selfish. I should have just started by saying I'm blind, and it wouldn't have gone so far for me. The last thing I wanted to do was expose the fact that I have a major deficiency in this hell. Now I'll just have to live by the light I've forgotten how to recall. Because it was the only way I could survive.
Wakanda, how long have you noticed this? For a while, of course. And I've been keeping my silence to see how long she could hide it. How was that possible? We didn't even notice. Of course, it wasn't obvious in the little things you usually do. But the most decisive moment was at some point during the night when I didn't know anything. I couldn't sleep in the morning and I was bored, so I went outside. I wanted to walk around the school when no one was around. But somehow I could hear something around me, see? I ducked and peeked, and Tadara was moving around and making certain noises. That is, a tick-tock-tick sound made by ticking your tongue with your mouth. That's when I realized this is something called echolocation.
Tadara, what were you doing so early near dawn?
Wanna guess? Using echolocation, she was trying to memorize the map of the entire school in her head. Since the space is limited, all she had to do was memorize it and it's over.
You even noticed that? I didn't even think of getting caught like that. I've avoided Mr. Blade's eyes, but I've never thought about being noticed by Mr. Shitanda.
But I exist during night. For patrolling. Avoid me how?
Footsteps echoing in a quiet, confined space can tell you more than you think. If Mr. Blade was wandering around the gym, I'd avoid him by muffling my footsteps and moving toward the father's private room. Isn't Mr. Blade wearing army boots? Footsteps are a lot louder than everyone else's.
Come to think of it, the fact that Tadara is blind puts a piece of the puzzle together. What does that mean? When we saw the video in the AV room.
But how can you not be disturbed when you find something like this? I feel like I have to leave right away by hearing the sounds of it.
Oh, that was a little foreshadowing there. I didn't even notice. Don't you think the expression is a little unnatural? Just by hearing the sounds of it? It's like you only really heard the sound. Normally, I'd say just by looking at it. Because vision is absolutely the most important of the human senses. You remembered that? There was another one. From the time we found the body. Ah, there you are. We couldn't find Mr. Iwada in the dormitory side. Mr. Iwada? Oh. Okay, that does make sense.
The body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, the class trial will begin.
What's happening? Oh Tomoe immediately screamed when he saw the corpse, but Tadaira didn't react much, even though she was in almost the same position as Tomoe. After Tomoe called out Iwada's name, she realized that things were getting out of hand. Combine that with the information that the body was found shortly afterward, she then gets a pretty good idea of what's going on. Wait a minute. Isn't that a little odd? That would mean that Tadaira was in the same place as the corpse for a while, but if so, I don't think we can discount the possibility that she smelled blood and noticed the anomaly. It's also scientifically proven that blind people have 4 other senses that are better than sighted people. I think I know why. Tadaira, would you like to try this? It smells really good.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. I don't smell very well.
Oh, you're not going to pick up anything because you're a rich girl, then I understand now.
Absolutely not. In my family, there's a tradition to always be polite to others.
I know. I was just kidding. Tadaira said something during our meals. She can't smell things very well. She definitely said that while talking with me. But I didn't think it was that big of a deal at the time. Additionally, the knife was not pulled from the corpse, so there was very little of external bleeding. At this rate, I don't think it's unreasonable to not notice it, but what do you guys think? It's not unreasonable. I understand.
What happened to you to make you two lose your sensory to lose 2 of your sensory
organs? Organs? I guess, organs. Well, to get back to the point, Tadaira's eyes probably can't take the light at all. It's unlikely that they would have found Iwada's body on the ground if they couldn't have seen even the slightest silhouette.
Medically speaking, it's called total blindness. Simply put, your field of vision is completely black and you can't see anything else.
That sounds terrifying. Genuinely, I can't even imagine the people who are blind. Like, I have so much respect for them because I feel like if it were me, I would be terrified to live like that. Like, it's terrifying. Like, I have so much respect for those people. For this reasoning, there is no contradiction. So then, shall we continue? Huh? Here's echolocation. There's that testimony from Shitanda, but that's just circumstantial evidence, isn't it? Of course, the logical inference that you are blind is very reasonable. However, it would be nice to see a little more hard evidence. Ego, that's a bit much. The main basis of your logic that Tadaira isn't the killer is because she's blind. You deduced that, didn't you? It's just to be more clear. If there's evidence, the logic will be stronger. No, maybe we don't need logic at all.
Like Miss Ego said, it's the truth, so why not see it through to the end? Then I'll show you my unquestionable proof.
As Tadaira said that... Oh! She has... like, bloodshot eyes. That's kind of like how his were. Tadaira's eyes remained wide open. Aw. Oh my god. Tadaira's eyes. Normally we would have had no chance to look so closely at her thin eyes. The pale green eyes were very cloudy, even when viewed from a distance, and she had a strange color that seemed to seep into the white. The difference from ordinary eyes was obvious at a glance.
Is this the proof you wanted? Let's make it even more convincing, since we have to rule out the possibilities like contact lenses.
That's glaucoma. Oh, that's Kizuki, sorry.
You went completely blind. You didn't get the treatment in time?
Oh.
Let's just say it's the product of a minor domestic incident. Is that enough to prove it?
I'm sorry, what? A minor domestic incident left you blind? Oh, this poor girl. I have to admit it. So then, there are two problems that remain to be solved, right? I assume everyone recalls.
You mean the one where the speculation was split between the possibility that the cloth was hidden and moved, and the possibility that it was hidden and moved beforehand?
Mm-hmm. The former corresponds with Tadira. I was curious, but there is nothing we can speculate on anymore. There were two people in the latter category, and now that Tadira has been removed, the truth is out. The only person who can kill Iwada is... Where is she? Fukuoka Kotori. It can't be anyone else but you.
Huh?
What do you mean, huh? I'll ask. Did you kill Iwada?
No way! There's no way I killed him.
If she did, I don't like her if she did, because I like Iwada. I loved Iwada.
How could a small, slender girl like me kill anyone?
Oy. Well, I don't think that's the case here.
More importantly, why am I being singled out as the culprit?
Have you heard what we've discussed so far? Why do you nod your head when others explain things to your heart contents, but now you're like,
oh, that's not what we're talking about.
This is why I didn't tell you who the culprit was from the start. Doesn't it make sense? You keep quiet. Why are you shamelessly interjecting that you did something good here? Oh, but you've been jumping all over the rest of them, calling them names when they say something ignorant. Then I'll be the one to say it. It's offensive, so shut up. I have nothing to say in that regard, then.
Whatever. I don't accept this result. I'm not the killer.
And what's your reasoning? Fukuoka, if you're not really the culprit, we need your help. We might have made an error or misunderstood our reasoning. Can you help us then? She is the killer, don't even.
Of course I can help. I'm not the culprit. I'll follow the logic of your accusation and refute it point by point, okay? Here goes.
Fukuoka is highly suspicious, but we shouldn't jump to conclusions about her. Let's listen to her words carefully. Really? We're going back into one of these? Ugh. Yuck. I have no idea. Let's see what she says, I guess.
Let's see. Let's start by refuting the first theory, okay? You first narrowed down the culprit to be among the concert organizers. Knowing that Iwada would be inside the classroom, that is why they were able to get the cloth in advance.
They surely did. No, Iwada may have gone to the classroom, but anyone else could have gotten it. If you can get it from anywhere, you can't get it from anywhere. Huh. Nothing resected doesn't mean they're correct. There's a serious contradiction in what she just said. I think it claw... I can't see it. No? Wait, really? Am I just dumb? What she just said, yeah. Can't get it from anywhere. Oh, somebody else said... The girl said that. The Kizuki or Jumanji? It was Jumanji. Or was it Ego? Is there a way I could check? Was it Ego or Jumanji? I don't remember. It was Ego. Okay. I can't. With all the accounts, I get confused with who said what. Let's be honest. Alright, let's go. I understand what you're trying to say. So, your point is, they used the cloth here because Iwada got into Class A. In fact, every room had a cloth, right?
Convincing, right? you know there's actually a similar trick in magic?
That's called a magician's choice. It's a trick that seems to allow the audience to make their own choices, but in the end, whatever they choose, the magician will play along.
Yeah, that part. It's all a trick.
But even so, that logic of yours is flawed, Fukuoka. According to Ego, the only cloth the killer could have used to stop the blood was the cloth used in the crime. I can't think of anything smaller and lighter than that cloth. I don't know what that cloth was used for in the warehouse, but I'm pretty sure the killer used it to stop the blood. See? It was practically the only cloth available for that purpose. That's what I found during my investigation. Which means the argument has no basis at all.
Miyuki, can't judge a book by its cover. Naturally, the culprit will want to get rid of anything that might be evidence, right? It's no wonder the cloth wasn't found in the other rooms during the investigation. Perhaps the killer kept it in their private room.
What kind of ridiculousness is that? You're starting to look like you have nothing to say. Oh, God.
What was that?
This is obviously a stretch. You've lived here for a few days, you know. 7 a.m. is when most people in the school are up and about. Of course, there are those who wake up and prepare from then on. Many people consider the 7 a.m. alarm to be the start of their day, so they're already out of the door by then. Yet the culprit committed this crime at 7 a.m. They would have taken quite a bit of time to get through every room after that and collect the cloth. And what was the premise of this case? The killer had an extreme aversion to being seen. How many times do you think such a killer would have moved everywhere for no reason? Apart from the fact they're particularly concerned about the eyes of others.
Well, it's hard enough to move a single cloth, let alone multiple cloths, without all of us seeing it. It's too contradictory to be the culprit's behavior.
Let me drive a wedge now. What is the reason for preparing the cloth? If you were alone, you're gonna stab and run. If you have a knife, you're outnumbered. It's not a question of Mr. Iwada coming to where alone. It's a question of whether Mr. Iwada will come to where alone. What? Whether he will come. What? Without the information in the first place, it's impossible to anticipate a situation in which Mr. Iwada is left alone. Without this information, it's just a bunch of traps, hoping to catch a rabbit. In other words, whatever the rationale, it's just platitudes. I don't know what that means. I'm just dumb. So it's getting really hot in here.
You're right. It's definitely a stretch.
What? Then why did you make that argument?
I told you. I'm just refuting your logic and looking for loopholes. Sometimes the counter-argument is just plain silly. Moving on, what about the possibility that Iwada felt safe giving his back because he was organizing the concert with someone else? In this case, the culprit is limited to the people organizing the concert, but it's unlikely that they're targeting your 7 a.m. morning announcement theory. Even if they had an alibi at 7 a.m., they could still be the culprit, so we can't rule out Kuzu.
That's easy to refute, too. As Tsubaki, Shinano, and Miyuki saw, Iwada didn't fully trust us. There's no way he would have left his back so easily open in a room with just the two of us. Or, at the very least, he would have secured his own safety and continued on with what he was doing.
Is this too much of a stretch? Next, then. I heard that idiot earlier say that it's possible to distinguish objects through echolocation or something. Couldn't it have been used in the crime somehow?
Ooh.
Echolocation isn't a one-size-fits-all technique. It's essentially a technique that utilizes sound, and if you can't make sound, it's useless. Kojima would normally be using it as little as possible to avoid being recognized as blind. Not to mention, when she points the knife at Iwada, it's also hard to notice someone approaching when you're waiting for the broadcast to go off. It's also a challenge not to be able to figure out the structure of things in the classroom by making noise, because Iwada might hear it. More importantly, when the alarm goes off, the only thing you'll hear is the alarm, And when it goes off, it'll be like Tadira is deaf and blind.
It's more likely to be interrupted by a well-developed sense of hearing. It would be unreasonable to use echolocation for murder.
Then it's possible that there was a sound and Iwada didn't suspect.
I'm tired of hearing you now. If you're going to argue with me, let's just hang you to the gallows. I told you, Fukuoka. There's nothing worse than being mistaken for a criminal for no reason when you are not the culprit. Why aren't you giving us more of a convincing argument? Because she is the culprit. It's her. You know what? From the second she's like,
Oh, I'm too little. You want to know.
shut the hell up!
You've been talking on and on since the beginning. I'm not the culprit. Why do you keep accusing me when I can prove it logically? I'm going to tell you the truth right now, so stop playing with people's lives and shut up already.
Okay. Shut up and slash! Alright, I'm not gonna be able to catch anything she says. This is the problem with this.
I think I'll give up.
There's still a lot to do or something. I don't know what she said. What else is missing? Can you tell me? What if there was somebody else? I think is what she was trying to say there. That might be loud, but it could prove to be a distraction. He could hear that on the floor, but his attention was on that person. She's saying, how about it? Try refuting this one. Someone was talking to Iwada? Is that really possible? Kizuki's account? No. I have no idea. I don't have enough time to go through all these things. If the problem is the thing to refute was right at the beginning, I didn't have time to go through them. Okay. Let's go. We're at the end. Come on, come on. It's enough. Stop. Fukuoka, stop it. You're not making any sense at all.
Something doesn't add up. Tell me then.
Simple. We had time to check each other's alibis before the trial, remember? No one has ever testified that they were face to face with Iwada alive. Are you saying that someone is lying?
Is it far-fetched? It doesn't sound silly. If there were accomplices, we will do a simple matter.
There were accomplices? No.
Yes, accomplices. Why? To argue that this time the accomplice has nothing to gain, so why would it exist? Think about it. It's only after the murder Monokuma tells us the accomplice that there's nothing to gain. If they don't know that, then it's fine to have an accomplice. Also, recall the process of deciding whether Tadira was mistaken or lying earlier. And the possibility that Tadira lied when she said she wasn't the culprit. You said there was no reason for her to lie, right? If Tadira is an accomplice, and she lied to continue the investigation, it almost confused the investigation. It also makes sense. See? Is that convincing enough?
Well, but still, if the accomplice had nothing to gain, wouldn't they have turned themselves in by now? There's no reason to keep your mouth shut when you're facing death.
If you turn yourself in and admit to being an accomplice, you might live for a while, but you're still aiding and abetting a murder, right? Maybe they're afraid of being in trouble if the others find out. If you push them a little harder, they'll come clean.
Even so, it's odd to say that there's an accomplice in this case. Do you remember just before the trial, Monokuma said no one asked about the accomplice? So even Iwada's killer didn't ask the question. Who really benefits from such an elaborate crime plan and forgot to ask? Let me also add something. If there was an accomplice, they could have just given each other's alibis in the first place. We just happened to be together at 6 a.m., so we have an alibi, that sort of thing. Oops, that was a big wasted idea. Because Jumanji, who actually came out of her private room at 6 o'clock, or Kuzu and Tomo, who have alibis from 7 a.m., right? If two people happen to meet at 6 a.m., there's nothing weird about that. But in this case, we didn't have a single person with an alibi until we narrowed it down. Early in the morning, no one can see you, so it's easy to create an alibi. If we have an accomplice, they can't pull off a simple cover story like this. Out of guess? What say now? I won't give up yet. Give up. Armament. We'll begin. Yeah, I need to know how to do this. Okay. Press the spacebar to match the rhythm. If you fail to destroy the... Oh, it's just a rhythm game? Cool. I like rhythm games. Okay. Your goal is to do that, you must destroy the other person's mark in accordance to the tempo of the song. Cool! No, this is cool. I like the idea of this being a rhythm game instead of me having to, you know, from all these other games. If you remove all armaments and fail to combine the letters of the last clue, the phase starts again. I'm wondering... Musuni... Chic. Okay, so that's like the same. Alright, let's do it. I like it as a rhythm game, that's fun. I like rhythm games. Keeps telling me to die. I have no idea what's happening. Contradictory method to kill. So hot in here, I want to put on a fan. Alright, let's go. It's the end. Let's do it. I'm at the end. That's enough. Your physique is just providing evidence that you're the culprit. What's that supposed to mean? At first glance, Fukuoka's small stature makes it seem a bit difficult for her to get her hands dirty with murders that require physical force. But on the contrary, it's because he's not the same size as Fukuoka that this happened. Am I the only one who doesn't get it? Let me break it down for you. I told you, didn't I? The killer didn't like to be seen, and they certainly didn't want blood on their clothes. If that's the case, why didn't they just use a method that doesn't splatter blood, like strangulation? He couldn't reach his neck. Why did they have to take the risk and stab him with a knife? Because she can't reach his neck. Now that I think about it, that was a fundamental blind spot. I didn't realize it until now. But if we assume the culprit is Fukuoka, the answer is pretty easy. To strangle, you'd have to wrap the rope around the victim's neck, but that was too much for Fukuoka.
According to their profiles, Fukuoka is 152 centimeters tall, and Iwada is 173 centimeters tall. That is a difference of over 20 centimeters. There's a big size difference, and it's a female-to-male ratio, so there's plenty of room for counterattack if you don't get the disadvantage at first. I can't imagine how many times I'd be able to wrap the rope around with that much height difference.
If I may say so, you've picked the most obvious way to defeat your opponent. I get it now. Of course, there would be other reasons we did not think of this. The criteria is vague, so it is difficult to conclude from this that the culprit has been a person shorter than Iwada. However, if you know the culprit and look again, you will find that this is the right answer. Hey, I don't think she's listening anymore. Out of gas again? What to say now? Fukuoka, can you hear me? Oh, she can. She just knows she's dying now. I'm gonna pretend like you're listening. I shall go over this incident from the beginning. If there's one last chance for you, it is now. Come to your senses and listen closely. Climax reasoning. Let's listen. Okay, is it the same? Fill in the blank spaces in the comic. You can by pressing the Q key. Okay. Once you complete everything, there will be no point deduction or game over elements for replaying the events. Cool. Alright, let's do it. I always check that because sometimes it could be different. Depending on the game. Alright, she took the knife. So I can look at it with Q. So I can visit the killer's private room. Runs away. No? Are there more? Oh, I think I need to just do the ones that I have and it'll give me more? No, I don't know. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. This has to be here. No? How can I look at other ones besides this one? Oops. She got the cloth. This one? No. This one? No. See, there's missing ones, but I don't know how to look at the... And this is this one. No, not Iwada. I'm so sad. She's in here. I don't think there's any for this one. They're over here. Okay. So where does that one go? It would have to be... It's not here. Like, is it really not right here? How could it not be? Over here? That makes no sense. You're telling me this, she smiles behind it, is looking at the cloth for the crime. Okay. It can't be here. What? Okay, whatever. This is fine. Whatever. No. Maybe I'm like reading it the wrong way. Like, does it read left to right or right to left? That's what I wanna. Like, it's right to left, right? I don't know, I could be wrong. To explain this crime, we must first begin with the meticulous preparation of the culprit. The culprit had two things in advance: a weapon and a cloth.
We can figure out when the culprit took the cloth by deduction, so let me explain. First, the weapon needed to be prepared. The culprit avoided the diner's busy hours, which means they went from 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock last night. Then, they walked into the kitchen and snatched one of the 4 kitchen knives off the rack and took it to their private room. Preparing the cloth was even easier. They would have gotten it from the warehouse when people weren't looking, most likely in the middle of the night. Ding dong. That's what that says, ding dong. After the killer returns to their private room with the weapon, Misaki suddenly pays them a visit. The request was to use their talents to make bread and sweets to give during the concert. The culprit must have been caught off guard here. If they say yes, they might end up going to the kitchen with Misaki to look for flour, and she might think it's weird that one knife is missing. But let's say they refuse. Maybe there's someone who can prepare the refreshments without their own hands. In any scenario, the knife will be found missing. So the culprit interrupted everyone's path to the kitchen by saying something like, "I already checked and there is no flour." Oh, Iwada, he's so cute. I'm so sad. The culprit, who had somehow become a concert organizer, was called into a meeting with Misaki, Tadaira, Shinano, and Iwada from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. The culprit probably didn't see this coming, but rather thought they could use it to their advantage. Now that they had the information that Iwada will be alone in the classroom at 6:30 a.m., there is no reason to bother playing victim. So did she plan to kill Iwada the whole time, or was she just planning to kill somebody? It didn't matter who. After the meeting, it's 10 p.m. and they're back in their private room, waiting for the right time. At 10 o'clock, people might still be out and about. Then, around dawn, the culprit sprang into action. Take the cloth they have already prepared and place it in the 1A classroom, where Iwada just happened to be. Or maybe they went straight to the warehouse, got the cloth, and brought it to the classroom. Maybe they hid it, not in class 1A, but the class next door, 1B. If it wasn't that far away, it wouldn't have mattered. Anyway, the culprit hid the cloth in plain sight, and somewhere Iwada wouldn't touch it, and waited for morning to come. Oh, he's so cute, he's so cute! Iwada arrived at the classroom at 6:30 a.m. as scheduled and began preparing for the concert. The killer chose this time to strike. Careful not to be seen, the culprit crept into Iwada's classroom and waited for the right moment. Wait, the music stop. Ding dong, ding dong. When the morning announcement goes off at 7 a.m., there was a sound coming from the classroom floor, so they needed another sound to cover it up. Oh, look at him. No, Iwada. When the alarm went off and deafened Iwada, the attacker rushed forward, grabbed the cloth, unfolded it in front of him, and stabbed him. They didn't want to be seen anymore, so they tried to stop the blood somehow. Oh. When the killer saw Iwada down, they discarded the bloody cloth and quickly fled the scene. The culprit had no choice but to throw the cloth away because it was covered in blood. Otherwise, the culprit would have been caught with the cloth. Oh man, she just left him there to drown in his own blood. It was sick. It was effectively a no-win situation. Iwada couldn't have died because the knife wasn't pulled out, but instead the knife reached his lungs, causing blood to enter his lungs and ended his life. Oh, jeez. That is crazy. She was calling for him and he just was dead there on the floor. Look at that poor baby. Sometime after that, Tadaira visited the classroom, but she didn't spot Iwada because of her disability. But then she ran into Misaki on her way back from the classroom and she asked her questions about Iwada. Daira's position would have been very awkward, as she had only the uncertain evidence of Iwada's absence in the classroom. Nevertheless, she didn't want us to find out that she was blind, so she falsely testified that he wasn't there for sure. It would have been one thing if Misaki had brushed it off, but she thought it was out of the ordinary. That was when things took a turn for the worse. Misaki and Tadaira asked me and Tomoe at the diner to cooperate, so we went looking for Iwada together. Later, Misaki and I found Iwada's body in the classroom, and the rest of us gathered around and shared our shock over it. The culprit lurked in the shadows, smiling quietly to themselves. Sick, she killed him. She killed Precious Iwada. Kotori Fukuoka. It can't be anyone else but you. How dare she? How dare she do that? To Precious Iwada. This can't be. You can't do this. I have to get out of here. That's why I killed that guy. So we were right, after all. I did not get good rank, okay? Let's be honest. Rank C. I suck. I don't care. Listen, whatever. I got through it. You failed at guessing. Rude. That was rude. Click away. I don't need to see my failure. Okay. I didn't think I did that bad, okay? I've done way worse in previous trials and previous games, so. I think there was like some in Danganronpa and other 2 that like I had to do over and over and over and over again. It was awful.
Well, I think we're getting somewhere, aren't we? So let's begin the voting time, shall we? Everyone, the switches are in front of the trial seats. You can vote on who the blackened is. Your choice may or may not be the right one. The results will tell. So, are we ready? It's voting time.
How dare she kill him? Precious Iwada, how dare she? You want to save? Yeah, I do. Just in case it fails to load or something.
Now, let's present the results. Miss Fukuoka Kotori, the ultimate baker who was voted as the blackened, is... Correctamundo! You got it. Congratulations to the spotless. You won.
I don't think they feel like they've won. A victory for the spotless. 14 condemned prisoners were spared. But nobody's pleased. No, we can't be. Why did you do that? Why did you kill Iwada? We could have gotten through this on our own. All eyes were on Fukuoka. What answer would she give? Oh, I'm sorry. Is she laughing? She killed Iwada and she's laughing? Bro? We were getting through? We were just playing. How long were you going to keep playing with him? You... It's pathetic. He had no friends, and he didn't want to make any. I want to say a not nice word. Bro? Not that word, but... Fukuoka looked at us in defeat and began to laugh. Her eyes flickered with anxiety. The corners of her mouth twitched in exaggerated hand gestures.
Well, I see where you're going with this. But is it all an act?
Of course, jerks. You think it's normal to talk about being friends in a war zone like this? Did you guys get screw loose in the head? Do you really want to brag about a friendship that's so insignificant? It's like the sand castle built with sand and it collapses when you hit it.
Let's suck the leader, laugh and chat, and pack into it a place where people live.
In the end, it's just a wilderness where you never know who's gonna get eaten and who's gonna be the hunter. Do you really think I'd be interested in a relationship of this quality? Cancelled. Huh? What? You take that remark back immediately. You don't have the qualifications to evaluate them.
What's with you? What's with you? You're suddenly angry. Weren't you the loner who didn't get along with anyone?
Bro? Girl?
I thought you were a little different because you were one step away when they lick their wounds at their heart's content.
The audacity. Shut up. Criminals like you. How could a criminal like you have the nerve to open your mouth, talking down to others? Who are you to argue about who eats and who is eaten? After all, how can you talk in contemplative tone when you are participant in weak logic yourself? What a waste. The only reward is that you are in your grave. Justin. Okay, Justin.
No, wait.
You can speak properly now? I've never seen you like that before. Wait, is he faking his accent? But I like doing his accent.
I'm glad to see that look of disdain. And I'll take it as a sign that my words are sensitive. I'll recognize that each and every one of you is amazing. After all, you've chosen to be a student at this elite school.
Don't bother using your cheesy language. If you valued your talents, you'd say respect, not recognize. You don't think I can see through that?
Is that the wrong attitude to have? Who in the world is more important than me? You... is this the Fukuoka we knew?
Pretending to be close when you were not. I'm sure this is a common reaction, as I have run out of things to say in such an unapologetic manner. But I don't need to tell you this, do I?
Because I'm awesome, and everyone knows it. I got Japan's best confectionery brand, which is on a roll overseas with just one hand gesture. I love myself and my talents very, very much, and I love the company I built. But then, in the video screen, that company, Kodori, is gone. What can I do about it?
Video screen? What the heck is she talking about? Why is that yellow? I'm so confused. It did do one thing. And it was to emphasize that you shouldn't be freaked out by the video. Oh, they're talking about the motive video. Oops, forgot. Me? What are you saying? Why not? How twisted can you be?
Anyway, what happened to that company in the video? I won't get into it, but because it's creepy to think about. I saw the video, and of course, my first thought was, I don't care what happens to other 15 people. I've got to get out. That's it. If I had gotten to know people here, I would have been able to use them as contacts, but how long did I have to wait for your investigation playground? Until I'm out on the streets, torn limb from my debtors? I could not stand it. Even if it meant risking the lives of 15 of you, I must see what happened to my company.
Horrible. You were going to sacrifice 14 valuable lives for just one? What kind of person in their right mind would make such an abomination? I cannot understand it at all, unless you have given up being human. You say that, but I have a feeling you're Chapter 3 culprit. He just gives, like, that vibe. You know the vibe? He gives that vibe.
Think whatever you want. I've never listened to anyone else's point of view, and I don't want to. Respect other people's lives as much as your own.
Know that not rejoicing in your death is the best courtesy I can offer.
Need I say more? I committed murder because I'm a narcissistic egotist who doesn't care what happens to your lives. But things turned out to be worse than I thought, and I ended up being cornered. Yeah, you understand everything else.
I know there's a couple smart people here, so I left as little evidence as possible. I didn't even use any gimmicks, and the only effort I put into it was getting the cloth to stop the blood splatter. And yet, even so, that piece of garbage was enough evidence for you guys. Fukuoka screamed and slammed the bench, failing to calm her anger. The dull thud of impacts never ceased. Stop it! You're going to break your hand. Oh, get the hell away from me! Your filthy hands off me! Fukuoka swung her hand to shake off Misaki's touch. No! Are you okay? Is it broken?
So what if it's broken? Are you gonna fix it? Oh, did you forget? Soon enough, I'll be in a state where I won't even care that my hand is broken.
Yeah, she's gonna get executed right now.
That's it, Monokuma. I've said all I was going to say, and I'm not gonna get away with it anyway, so... just get it over with. It was too early in my life that It was too early on my life that I had blood on my hands.
Right. The finale of the class trial. It's execution. Fukuoka must now accept death. Wait. Where are you going to die alone so quickly? Something I haven't asked you yet.
What makes you believe I'm gonna answer it?
Because your pompous ass has been spouting off all your nonsense philosophy for minutes when no one asked. I just have one question. Why did you choose Iwada as your target? Simply because you had definitive information that he would be alone? Yeah, why did you choose my precious?
It is, but for different reasons. He wasn't talented, right? The thought of entering Hope's Peak, the elite of the elite, in a subject where he's not even good at anything, is beyond arrogant. I chose him because he was overbearing. As I said earlier, the rest of you are talented people, so why should I be hesitant to kill him?
Bro? Girl? The audacity. Rude. Yeah, that's a simple way of understanding. Shut up. Shut up, Mayu. Don't take this as a compliment, of course, because it's such a mean-spirited way of thinking that you shouldn't even think twice about it. You can go to hell now, murderer.
Hopefully you won't. Hey, we're done talking. I'm kinda bored from this. Since you didn't say anything, I will assume we're done here. I've prepared a special punishment for Miss Kotori Fukuoka, the ultimate baker.
Is she gonna get, like, baked into a pie or something?
I've made up my mind, but it's still scary. So this is what dying is like. Hey, Monokuma, I know I've been trying to act cool here, but I'm scared to death. Then you can leave, can't you?
Just give me a break. I don't want to die like this. Help me. I'm scared. Help me, help me, help me, help me.
It's punishment time.
Help me. Oh gosh. Fukuoka is guilty. Oof. Oh yeah, the classic first. Gets pulled by the neck. Fukuoka bang. Oh, it's like a mukbang? Or like pong like bread. Bread. Okay. Pong like bread. He is baking her. Oh. Oh god. Pesachuri? Kotori Pesachuri? That's what that says, but I don't know what that means. God, they baked her into a piece of bread. Oh my god. What is this? He ate her! And then threw her in the garbage because she was gross. That's messed up. That's worse than Mondo butter. Or is it? It's like Mondo butter 2.0. Oh.
Ah, phew. I haven't felt like this in a long time. It wouldn't be like myself after all. This feeling of contemplating a powerless individual who is betrayed by a talent that she dedicated her life to. Does anyone really know people like that?
The adrenaline. Oh, sorry, that's Monokuma still talking.
The adrenaline coursing through my spinal cord isn't even the end of it. But it does a bear's nervous system feel pleasure that way. I'm not really sure.
Monokuma's following words fell on deaf ears. What we saw was something out of a quality snuff film. Anyone can be the star of that video. Recruiting applicants of the ultimate level. Suddenly dizzy, I staggered to my feet and grabbed the bench. When was the last time I felt this vertigo? She'll not. Well, I don't know what it means. I can read it, but I don't know what it means. Ah, Iwada's corpse. The source of all tragedy. The effect of all despair. The one that threw us out of paradise in an instant. That's a pretty unusual reaction for you. Didn't you just see the dead body? When I examined it, I got dizzy and sat down on the chair next to me for a moment, and then I was scolded by Ego. What I realized then was... It's flashing by too fast. I can't even read what it says. Do you really want to brag about a friendship that's so insignificant? It's like a sandcastle built with sand and it collapses when you hit it. What kind of person was I? Why? In a hell where the line between life and death is so thin, where everything you hold dear turns to a handful of sand overnight, this is the first emotion that greets me. Why do I have to live in this sandcastle? Kishikam? Kishikam? Oh, it flashed to English in for a split second. I didn't get it. Heat sizzles in my head as my brain is melting and my vision turns black. I couldn't take it anymore. My grip loosened, and with a thud, my vision went black. Perhaps that was the last time I heard a voice. Before I could wonder whose voice it was, my consciousness, straining at the seams, slipped away into an interlude of drowsiness. What's happening? Shoji?
Good day, viewers. This is Shinano's first ever content that digs directly into the lives of the high school students. The ultimate interviewer is back, and he's got a particularly unusual guest for episode 11.
Wait, so he's not the ultimate streamer, he's the ultimate interviewer? Or is he both?
The same guy who had a reputation as a school troublemaker for a while but was rehabilitated by my saintly efforts. This is Hiroto Iwada. Let's get started.
Sweet baby.
For now, let's start by saying hello.
Oh. Hello everyone. I'm Hiroto Iwada, the ultimate lucky student who got in. What should I say? I didn't have any rehearsals, so I'm kinda stumped. Normally I would start this interview by talking about talents. Well, as you may have noticed, I don't have a lot of those. Oh, it's alright, Shinano. I'm not trying to beat myself up. Look at his precious little smile. So this is what I'll do. I'm going to talk about the situation I'm facing. This is from a completely irrelevant situation. I'm used to it now, but the first day of confinement was horrifying. No, actually, I still don't think I'm used to it, but this is a school full of elites, with famous labels as ultimates, right? It's no place for an incompetent like me. Adding to that, the unrealistic reality of a killing school trip, it becomes an even scarier place. It was a hellhole of strangers where everyone was each other's enemy. Though I didn't belong in this school, that I was just plain weak, that I wasn't meant to be here. I thought that I didn't belong in this school, that I should just hide away. But that has changed over the course of my time here. I thought this was going to be some kind of dictatorship. But it's true, isn't it? This is a space dominated by new concepts, so it's not surprising that the logic of power would prevail. Especially for someone like me, who thought I might get stuck at the bottom of the ladder and suffocate. So I was afraid. I thought I was the unneeded, I wasn't talented, that I deserved to be beaten if I took one step out of my room. I locked myself up with those thorns at my side, but that wasn't it. They kept trying to help me, kept trying to get me out. I may have been a pain in the ass, but I wasn't trash. It allowed me to get out of the room. Thanks to them, I thought there might be a place for someone like me at this crooked academy. Of course, I'm still not good enough. I'm a pathetic guy with no talent or courage. But I don't feel like I'm separate from this place anymore. I won't hide anymore. No! Iwada! I was hooked just listening in the middle of it. Did you really feel that way? Were you that overwhelmed? Everyone, our child had a remarkable change like this. Wait, don't get too close, Shinano. Alright, how do we pull off an all-nighter tonight? We'll find out about your home life, your hobbies, your interests, where you went to school, and even what you buy at the convenience store, too. That last one, what the heck do you need it for? I'd love to respond, but it just doesn't seem like the right time. Well, you have to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Good luck out there. That's it for today. We'll do the rest tomorrow night. No complaints? Yeah, sure. Then, how about saying any last words? Okay. I don't want to click. I don't want to know what his last words are. Well, this is more fun than I thought it would be. The interview. The days spent at this academy were so important to me. It wasn't happy things, but it meant a lot to me. It's time to say goodbye. I'll see you guys next time. I hate this. Why would they add this just to hurt me? Just to hurt me. Bye-bye, everyone. Chapter 1. To be continued. Oh, I'm so sad they killed Iwada. I'm so sad. I don't want her baker's hat. I don't like her. I don't want it. Do you want to save? I do, but I don't think chapter 2 is out yet, or at least translated yet. So for now, this is the end of Mauve for now. I don't know when the next chapter will be released. When it does, I will play it. But yeah, I really enjoy it a lot. I know it took me forever to get through just the first chapter, but I really do like it. I like these characters, except the select few, let's be honest. But yeah, let me know what you think in the in the comments. Let me know if you think there's who you think will be the next Blackens and culprits. Like, take a guess. Like, I think Tomoe is chapter 3 type of Blackened. He seems like the what is the name of that guy? The creepy guy from V3. You know, the chapter 3. I forget his name. I forgot his name. It says something. It's long. It starts with a K. But yeah, he gives me those kind of vibes. I don't know. I'm just sad. I miss Iwada. He's such a sweet little bean. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That is the end of chapter 1, and I will see you whenever chapter 2 comes out. I don't know when, but I will see you then. Bye bye.